The views and opinions expressed during this program are solely those of the individuals involved and do not reflect the views of Explorewithsu. As such, this channel cannot be held liable for any legal actions arising from the content of this program.
Hello my besties, welcome to this channel. It's your girl Susu here. If you are not subscribed yet, please do well to subscribe, support this channel, like this video, comment and share. Thank you.
I think your son was behind you a moment ago.
So what I'm trying to say is that let's deal with the issue. If you don't talk about the issue, it doesn't get dealt with. The fact that the man that is supposed
and sorry, Olumide, let me add on top of the point I'm making. If you take the state that generates or gets even the highest IGR, let's say Lagos, for instance, a lot has been said about the quantum of this IGR that is going into private pockets. Are you okay with it? Just because Lagos is number one on the IGR list, you're not worried about what happens to the money? Is that the issue now?
Masker, which brings us to the question. Let the people elect their leaders. When they elect who they want, the person that is there that is supposed to hand over to the next person will not force his protege on us just to cover things up. When things are laid bare in the open, we all see it. That is what is called a free and civil society. Let us not back wrongdoing.
No, I will totally agree with you, Olumide, on that point. I will totally agree with you. Where I will push back is an argument where we will engage in contrasting the North and the South. There's nothing like the North. There's nothing like the South. So, it's all figments of people's imagination.
Masker, as a matter of fact, Masker, the North may not contribute as much as the South contributes. Does not mean that the potential is not there. You understand? It doesn't mean that tomorrow they can overtake the South with what they have. You understand? Look at Japan, for instance. No natural resources. You understand? They are the third largest economy in the world. What do they sell? They sell intellect. They sell technology. You understand? They export their brains to the whole world. We have Toyota today, #1 car manufacturing company in the world. We have so many things. You understand? We can get there. It doesn't really matter. We can get there.
Yeah, but for us to get there, for us to get there, we need to understand
this way, right? Let me just add Master, we are all advocating for. We are all advocating for a broader.
See, I just want to inject something. You know, when he said the North can contribute, the North doesn't have to necessarily contribute more than the South. In the UK, the Romans developed the South of the UK. Until today, that divide has not ended.
No, forefathers, when the North, I agree with you, they must not necessarily contribute as much as the South. But when they are deliberately, right, shutting down ways of generating income or revenue from their state is something that we should be concerned about. For example, Baska told us that. Yeah, I will tell you. I'm loaded today. I will tell you. See, Baska told us that.
Let's hear the evidence that they are.
Hold on. Yes, I will show you the evidence. Mascas they told us here that the cows or the cattle in the North pay tax to the state, right? Now we also have a way in the North and another avenue where they will be able to generate income, but they are shutting it down. For example, in the North, just as they are calling for building of ranches in the South for the Fulani cattle, as ever. In the North, any of the state governors encourage the rearing of pigs, give money to the people, I don't know what they call them, people that rear kids, right? Pigs, to build, what they call them?
Pens?
To build something like, you know, just as they have ranch for the pigs so that they will be able to produce these pigs in large quantity.
If you go
but they will never do that. You know why?
A lot of
pig is haram, is forbidden according to Islam. Forgetting that the state is made up of both Muslim, Christians, non-traditional religious believers, traditional believers, and non-believers. So they are shutting it down. You dare not rear pigs in the North. They will actually, you know, dog like that. Dog will be a very good business in Cross River. Why not produce dogs in the north and then export it to the Cross River area and sell it for good money?
You know how many
but they will not
donkeys?
do that. So they're trying to shut down ways that they will be able to generate income. Is a problem. But they turn around and enjoy income from, revenue from other places. Why not encourage them to generate revenue in their own state and contribute to the government? That is the problem.
And the question I'm asking you, Kene, what state are you from?
You don't keep shutting down ways of getting income and revenue, but you're enjoying from others. That's parasitic.
Okay, enough. See, I think let's
that's parasitic.
People can talk.
Kene, what state are you from?
Master, hold on. Before,
my state?
Master comes for me.
Yes.
I am from Anyoma, Delta State.
You see that? Don't mind him. He's not
it's all right.
Don't mind him.
Anyoma Southeast.
Stop it, Kenny. AY, please. I apologize for the kind of these people. They are, whenever Kenny is here, he doesn't let people talk.
No problem.
He goes for 1 hour. Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised the amount of time you give to Kenny. If you guys have spent 5 hours here, I think he spent 2 hours.
Oh yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead. Leave him.
One of the things I wanted to correct, Righteous Man luckily has corrected that. I think recently, Kene has started watching BIAFRA radio too much. That is what is actually confusing him sometimes. I know he's a smart boy, but he just don't want to understand the history himself is talking about. Righteous Man has corrected that. On the issue of state creation, I don't think Nigeria's state were really created by geographical region, like geographical region, but not in terms of ethnicity, right? But I think it would be fair if the Southeast can have a state, genuinely, they should have it. But the other thing we need to look at is most of these states, they are not viable. The argument we make it here right now, this has been my position on things, it doesn't even make sense. Even the state you are calling, let me tell you, without the federal government allocation, go and check, close to 30 states of Nigeria cannot survive. We need to understand this issue. I remember
let's shut Gombe down.
Hey, don't interject me, Kene. Don't do that. You need to keep quiet. Don't interject me.
Please.
You know why I'm saying some of this argument we are making. We need to put our eyes on the ball. We actually missing a big point here. 20 years ago, when we were in university in Nigeria, there was this argument of, ABU is the best school in Nigeria. AOU is the best school. Unibank is the best school. Uniparty. I used to tell my class, these are nonsense talk. Nonsense. Not because I was not attending the best school in Nigeria, but what you call the best, you go to these schools, people are sitting in the lab, they don't have places to attend lectures. But you say calling it the best school. Yes. Why are you calling it the best school? They don't have labs. That's why we are where we are today. That is the same argument we are coming here to.
Which school do you attend in Nigeria?
Hold on. I attended the University of Benin. Hold on. You need to know that. Hold on. So that is still the argument we are coming here to make, that my state is better. My state is producing the. Listen, the solution to Nigeria problem, we need to draw a line. Peter Obi said it all. From consumption to production. Like what some people have alluded here is, most of the states, the reason why they are not performing, these governors will get into power, they will go and sit in Abuja, sit in Lagos and be taking state money, is because they go to Abuja every month to collect allocation. This nonsense needs to stop. By the time this will stop, restructure this whole system. Let each state produce what they are getting. Trust me, the governors will sit up. But instead of us to get into this kind of argument that will be productive, we're ending up, the state from the north, the state from the east, state from the south. These states we are also talking about, the criminals are all over, stealing the resources of this state. But the argument again is about my tribe is better. If your governor are so rich, your state is so, why are your governors complaining? Why are you not holding them accountable? What are they doing for their state? How many governors in Nigeria from 1999 go and take a list that will be bold that said, I did my job diligently. I was able to raise the state revenue. I did my job. I was able to have even excess budget. Again, it's about the tribe. Now me fine pass.
Nobody is calling tribe.
Hold on, Olumide.
You haven't said anything different for what anybody has said here.
Hold on, Olumide. So we need to pay attention to the issues. The issues are very serious. The poor people, the common man, are suffering across board in all these states. I understand, but look at us here. I can say all of us here, probably we are from different states, all as we are on this board. What are you benefiting from your state? How many of our family are working with the state? What are we benefiting? No. Most of us, the answer is no. So we need to look at the bigger issue. But when you say this, people say the way people are stealing gold in Zamfara, that is the way these criminals are stealing oil in the Niger Delta area. We need to understand this issue. If you know our oil that is good, we can't even meet OPEC quota. We need to understand this problem. The problem are so big. Who are the people? Even the Niger Delta military that were fighting. Oh, they fighting for Niger Delta people. They were fighting for their pocket. Most of them are billionaires. Poor people are still there. I just pray, my sincere prayer is we have a leader that will understand the issues we have in Nigeria, that will open his mind to look at this issue across board and work for the people. That is where we will know that we will not be coming here and be having all this kind of discussion. But the most important thing, Nigeria needs to be restructured very fast and stop this governor from going to Abuja to collect money. Let them take care of their resources. Thank you.
Can I ask
actually, I'm surprised that you went to school 20 years ago, because before now I was thinking that you are part of those Gen Zs that don't have respect for elders. But
can I please
you, yeah, please, if not now.
Can I, if I boss you?
So fast at I mute him, and he's so fast at unmuting himself, and he doesn't move. How do you even do it? It's like he's testing on the unmute himself. Please go ahead, if not now.
I'm really wondered why the Senate is actually having this conversation, and I think that it's deliberate, because they see that the country is interested in a certain direction, and some of those things are just distraction. How do I know that it's distraction? I don't think there's any kind of debate they will have there that will eventually lead to creation of additional states. They're just throwing it out there. Because for all that we've identified as the problem, do you think that if the Senate started discussing or debating resource control, is there any region that will want to have more states created for them? Would there be benefit? I don't think there's going to be any incentive for you to ask for more states if we decide to do away with the sharing formula and begin to talk about resource control. Each state control your resources. Will a state like Zamfara allow criminals to steal their gold if there's resource control? I don't think it's going to happen. So we know the solution to a complex problem, but we lack the political will to, pronounce that solution and implement it. That is the problem with public good. When you remove the hand of the federal government in all those things, and the state become accountable and start looking for ways to be sustainable, they have to manage their resources. They have to make sure that there is no economic loss or sabotage in their state. Because the governors will declare people that are engaging in such activities as their public enemies. But today, the Zamfara state governor doesn't even really see that illegal mining of gold and stuff like that as economic sabotage that affects him personally. because there is, like Maska said, there is always, he can even, I think most of them even live in Abuja to start with. So that's the problem.
Thank you. I'm not 100% convinced that just because you give them their own state, they are going to suddenly start producing this thing. Because you know, we have something is wrong with our head.
I didn't say give them their state. I said the incentive why people are asking for more state is because of the sharing formula.
Okay.
That's the incentive.
Okay. But I would have thought that the sharing formula so far favors the states that produce most of the resources in Nigeria. They are given to Delta.
No, there are states that don't produce anything.
Look at it.
And so,
if you create a Nioma state, for instance, today, and the people that are advocating for Nioma state know that if you are creating the state from today, or say Olu state, from today, next month, for instance, they are not going to Abuja to look for money. Setting up the structure to run the state is going to be generated internally. Do you understand? The same thing applies to every other state. I'm just saying for the sake of argument. Do you think that
but Steph,
if you do it that way,
what
that
I
is
want to also draw attention.
If you give them state,
we need to be very
support
clear.
them to structure first.
No, that's that we are saying the same thing again. What I'm saying is that assuming that what is in practice today, that the country is restructured and government is not sharing resources every month, that the incentive to ask for more states will not really be there.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I think that is where AY makes sense today. AY is now coming back to what the Biafrans are advocating for, which is autonomy of states.
Ekele, I'm not with you. I'm not with you on Biafra.
leave him.
Your Biafra
I think that the people in Anyama will lose money if Ikene is right that they are in the Delta North. That is not the region where the oil is coming from, so they will lose money because Delta is getting the highest allocation.
But you see, when we talk like this is where the problem comes from. Because the idea is that some people in the state, there's some sort of sharing formula for every citizen of a state. This money goes into the coffers of a couple of individuals. And we sit down here and we talk as if this money goes to people, goes to citizens.
Yeah. Maska is not just the sharing formula.
Listening to this kind of logic.
Yeah, Maska, it's not just the sharing formula. Sharing formula is one among many other reasons why they are calling for additional state. For example, like I said it earlier, they are calling for additional state because they are being marginalized in the voting power too. If they go to the National Assembly, for example, they they don't have voting power as much as the Northwest and Northeast.
Okay,
right?
so ask yourself, Kenny, what is it that the Southeast senators wanted to vote for? What is it that they wanted to vote for that they didn't get? But you forget one thing. Most of these
you are now being specific with Southeast. We're talking about South, for example. One thing that they want to be voted for is, for example, one that is still in the pipeline is regional system. You and I know that recently they're talking about regional system of governance in that country, and the northern politicians are kicking against it. If it comes to voting now, they are going to have more voting power than the South. So to balance this,
the point has been made. This thing. Let's move to the next person. John Abba, thank you for joining us. Let's try to tamp this thing down because I think Maska is right. Let's focus on what is going to actually give us something instead of arguing amongst ourselves. John Abba, please go ahead.
Let the next person continue because somebody is on the phone here. So let the person continue. So I don't.
Sikao Keller, you are one of the luckiest people to join the panel because the moment you came in, it's your turn somehow. I don't know whether you are a friend of Mahmoud or something. I don't know, but it's all right. Please go ahead.
Okay, you can hear me clearly?
Loud and clear.
Yes.
Okay, greetings to everyone. Thank you for having me. I just want to contribute quickly to the brother who was talking about how the resources are not evenly distributed among the states. So I know very well there's something called VAT, the value added tax. So that's one of the way the federal government generate revenue from each state. So let's take Anambra State, for example, that have a breweries company that produces alcohol. So the federal government will take tax from that company that produces alcohol. But when the federal government is giving allocation, they will give some of that tax money to Zamfara. But Zamfara does not want alcohol. Zamfara ban alcohol. Zamfara will burn down alcohol, but the VAT collected from alcohol in Zamfara, from Anambra, Zamfara wants some of it. That's not correct. So let the northern states that want to work on religious law reject the VAT from alcohol companies, because you can reject that part of production and then still be collecting money from it. It's not fair to the people in the South. So that's one thing I wanted to point out. Now, to people who are saying this is not a North-South thing, we should just discuss the incompetence of leadership. That's true, but you must know every problem, there are different layers. There are different factors. There is a factor of incompetent leadership. There's also a factor of the very wrong arrangement of the structure of the country. That's another factor you must talk about. And until you fix that, the issue of Southeast wanting more states, all of you know the states you have now were created by military leader from the North. They did not create them based on justice. They created them based on their own agenda. So you shouldn't be complaining today if other people are saying we need more states because there are more northern representation in the assembly and certain law cannot be passed. So I think the different layers of problem must be discussed without suspicion. That's my submission.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sakal. Thank you.
Yeah, if Janaba is not speaking,
yeah, I'm
go ahead,
available
Janaba.
now. All right. Thank you, fellow panelists and watchers and some of my people on the chat section. I came in because of some of statement that, in summary to all, I can say that we, the diasporans, are the problem that is facing Nigeria. We are almost like a terrorist to our mother's land. And that is very disappointing because every nation, if you watch, most people make a difference in their land from outside the country and push back by a good organization that mean well for all the people. Because their motive is to make sure there is fairness, equity, and justice for all. Do we accomplish it all the way? No, but there will be certain impact in that agenda to unite the people. Because the more united we are, the better we can share our resources, and the better we know ourselves, and first and foremost, by as a human being and of the same race, than this divisive rhetoric that often sound like we are against the certain people, we've been taken advantage, and all of those things can be a legitimate dialogue, but it cannot come from a few approach that almost a sentiment of division instead of sounding it okay. If I have my differences with you, it's okay as a family to come together and iron it. But when we are feeling without sitting down, it doesn't make us a better human being, and it doesn't make you a tough person. I've had so many, I've been listening, so I had all of the conversation, but end of the day, I was even hearing about Dangote issue and all of that. Nobody hold anybody if you think it's a monopoly. Of course, nobody wants certain things, but in life is that what we should know is that if you know what to do and you know you mean it, whether for bad or for good, go ahead and do it. That's the measure of a man. Complaining and without strategy, without execution of the plan that you are agitating for, end of the day, you end up locked up. Now, as I summarize, those people for NSAS, I thank God for Shehu to speak about it on the 12th. which is the Democracy Day, according to them. Where are they today? How many people have heard about them since they get locked up? Because the organization was based on shallow, and that is what Black people normally do, most of us. We organize something temporarily without looking deep into it. If there was enough organization that would have money set aside, a lawyer to pursue the case, because we should know that in African space and Nigerian space, they will come after you regardless. And then we quickly get burnt out of, and we get scared and we walk away because we don't have that resources and we're not that organized. If we're going to make a forward and not putting people against each other, then the next thing we the diaspora must have a common goal we are pursuing. Not every Saturday we come here and argue and antagonize each other. And as I summarize now, some people are asking for Rudolph Okonkwo. His elder brother Pansa sent him to hell. So I think when he come back, he will tell us how hell look like. Thank you.
Thank you. Mazi Prince, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, forefathers, I don't even have much to say, and I'm just kind of like recovering. I'm okay. I'm just recovering, but I'm just taking some good rest. But what I will play with you is, Kenneth, thank you for all you said. I'm totally in support of what you've said. AY, you are not Anyama, so don't claim to be Anyama. Be on your lane and leave us alone, okay? Leave us alone. We want to join. We want to join Southeast. Yes, we want to join Southeast. It's not about that. It's not about.
Mazi Prince, you are not the spokesman for Anioma.
I am, because I am from.
I will go meet the pig myself.
I am from the main place. I'm from the main place, Asaba, Oko, Asaba. So you not if you are from Agbo, you can join Delta, you can join the Shekiris and the Urubus. Leave us alone. We want to join Southeast. You guys leave us alone. What is it? What is in there? Can we just have our own?
Thank you, Prince.
You are not a rep.
If our people were killed, slaughtered, shot at, then why can't we join the people that they accuse us of being? Why can't we join them? Leave us alone, please. Enough bloodshed, enough said. It's not anybody. We don't care about the money. Okay, the robots and the Ishakiris can drink the oil money. We don't need that nonsense. Since Delta has created, what have they even been able to do? Even the Delta, what do you call it? The capital, Asaba. If not those from Anambra and from other states that came in there to develop it, what have the main Delta people, Urubos and all that, what have they been able to do? All they know how to do is to grab power. Right now, the governor is developing, he said his main concentration is to develop his own side. Because he knows that after him, that it will take forever for another person to come. And I bet you that another person that is going to come is not going to come from Asaba or environment. He's also going to come from their own side. Okawa that came, Okawa is not Asaba.
Mazi Pri, before you lose it completely, I've never mentioned anything Anioma and not Igbo or no Igbo. I didn't make mention of that. So you need to withdraw that statement. I thought you were joking.
About what?
The way you are talking, that's rude.
I said when you said no.
I never said anything about I never said anything. Everybody is here.
Look at AY talking about being rude.
You said. Listen to what you said. You said when they come here to talk about tribe, and I've never accused you. Listen, when Kenny was you're talking about what Kenny said, and Kenny is talking about Anioma being a state.
You want to jump into the lagoons? It's not my business.
AY, stop interrupting him. Stop interjecting him. Behave like an adult, please.
You are taking it serious. I'm not interested in that discussion. No. I never said anything about Anioma, so you can't come here and talk nonsense and you want to go free.
Are you taking my time now?
Why are you being rude?
Or what? Are you taking my time now or what?
When AY, let him finish what he's saying.
Are you
But you
taking my
called
time now or what?
but you
Go
called
ahead.
AY
Go
out.
ahead.
You called AY out. That's why he has the
Yeah.
right to
When I called him out, is when he said that while we're talking about tribe, that's when I called him out. Okay? So if you want to be a
But
child,
Mazi,
if you want to be a child
let me say
and
something
dabble
to you,
into the
Mazi.
dirty waters, then we could dabble into the dirty waters.
Mazi, where you are from in the Anyoma equation is very, very close to Anambra, so I can understand the way you think. But
Yes.
you also have to understand that there are people within that area that still have different opinions.
And
So
that's why no, forefathers.
Mhm.
Those ones who really don't agree, those Okwani, which is almost close to Agbo and whatever it is, they can join the Urobos and the Shekiri. We don't have any problem with it.
Okay,
they can go.
Yeah, you're
that's
supposed to
fine.
speak for yourself.
That's fine.
That's
And
what we're saying.
you know that some of your people that would think, we will leave this state and go to a state that doesn't get as much allocation. They may not opt for that.
No.
So even your own people will have difference of opinion.
Forefather, you keep interrupting. Even the revenue that is being given, where is it? Okay? And when I talk about Anioma, I'm talking about people from Ibuzo, I'm talking about Iseluku, I'm talking about for Washuku, I'm talking about Asaba, I'm talking about Oko, I'm talking about
Obiaruku.
Are you saying that you've not produced a governor?
No, we've not. I'm telling you what we're going
Marginalization, subjugation of these people because they're Igbo.
You have the capital. You have the capital.
And we've been marginalized.
I thought Okowa was from that region, no?
No. Okowa is from the, what do you call it? Okowa is from the Agbo area.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And we still be marginalized.
Wow. I didn't think that the capital of the state will be calling themselves marginalized, but
I'm telling you,
Urobo is majority in that state.
Telling
Urobo is
you,
majority,
people,
that's why.
what you see in Asaba today is being brought by people from Anambra. It's the Igbo men, those men.
All that oil allocation don't have anything to do with it. Come on, don't be.
Most of the houses at Asaba today is owned by people from Anambra and Enugu. I'm telling you. What are you telling me? It's my state. It's my place. And I know it.
But it's the capital of the state.
That's what I'm saying. And we accept them. And that's why we want to belong to them too.
Forefather, because of his security, a lot of people from Anambra are building in Asaba. That's recently. Yeah, it's because of his security. You need to still make it clear. That's why most people are living there.
No, AY, that is not the reason. AY, you failed it.
The major reason.
No, that is not the major reason. It's not even among the list reasons. So I don't know what you're saying.
I just want to say to
Asaba is very close to Onisha, the nearness, right? Onisha is congested. Listen. I know this very, very well. Onisha is congested all the way to Mpo, Obosi. They're all congested. No space for anything. Down, they tend to move towards Asaba because Asaba is just very close, nearness to market, and Asaba is the state capital. At least there is light there already. There is development there, right? And knowing that they are the same people, so it's very easy to assimilate. So it's not about insecurity. Development started as long as I don't even know over 2-3 decades ago.
So Mazi, if let's say people from Asaba were producing governors, would you feel this strongly about it? About moving away?
Listen, even if we are producing governors, right, I will still feel the same way I feel. Why do I tell you that? Forefathers, when I joined this platform, I told you guys a story. And that is a story of my father. Okay? My father was posted to Benin while working and the war broke out. Now, at some point, he needed to come back. He could not come back through the regular channel. He had to go through rough areas to the extent that people were being, just for the fact that you are from my place, they will put you in a firing squad. Okay? Those things happen. Apart from that, we and Onitsha have, that is, a number of traditions that are very similar. Okay? If you talk about our second burial and Onitsha second burial is the same. So why are we being separated? Why are we being separated? And my people, those ones who are in farming, okay, they farm in yams and okra and other stuff. And the closest place that they sell their things is at Onitsha. So it's kind of like you having twins and you separating them. Is that right? Not only Onitsha. Not only Onitsha. When you talk about
let me highlight something to him that a lot of people struggle with when they are living in bordering states. Like now, if that Anyocha goes, do you know the people that are going to be in the bordering region between the new Anyoma, I think Anyoma you call it, Anyoma and the other side, they will be saying, they separated me and my brothers. They will still feel the same way.
No,
every time there's a separation, you always have people. If you have bordering people, you always have that.
Forefathers, we are confusing ourselves. We are
let me help forefathers here with this question.
I see it everywhere.
There is a community in Imo State, Ebema. Ebema was one Ebema before River State. So when River State was created, Ebema was divided into two. One part still in Imo State, the other part still in Delta River State. Matter of fact, you may come to a family, let's say Okoye family in Ebema. Part of the family now is in River State, part in Imo State. Will you now say that they are not Igbos or they are not originally Imo people? The same thing happened on the other side, where you have Obibo. Hold on. Where you have
I'm not going to waste with that. You are not even addressing the point that I made. You are just restating your own position. The point that I made was that when you have bordering people that are similar, you always have a situation whereby they will say, okay, we are similar, we need to join this side, or the other will say, we need to join that side. When you split them again, you generally find that the place you split them, they will still have people that are similar on both sides.
Forefathers, I've answered your question. You are talking about similarity now. We are talking about people being one people. You're talking about being similar. We are talking about one people. This is one people being divided. Originally, they are one people.
No, okay, yeah. When you're saying Donny people, but Anyocha people are different from Enugu people now, or Anambra people historically. They are
Prince made an instance with Onitsha and Asaba. The only thing that physically divides Onitsha and Asaba is just the river.
Historically, Asaba was not the same as Onitsha.
No, historically it was Ahaba, not Asaba, Ahaba.
Are you telling me my own history?
We know Onitsha for a very, very long time. Okay. And we know that Asaba, they even have their own Obi there. They are also different.
Have you ever read Chike Goes to the River? Have you ever read that?
No.
Eze Goes to River, right?
Is it? No, it's not Eze Goes. Eze Goes to School and Chike Goes to the River.
Eze Goes to School.
Eze Goes to School.
I think that
Eze Goes to School.
There's Chike and the River.
Can I no agree read now? Don't mind him.
There is Chike and the River. There's Chike and the River, and there's Eze Goes to School. Also, there's even another book. I'm trying to remember the book, being written by a man from my own village, by Macmillan. I'm trying to remember that book. If I remember it, I'll put it down. Go and read that book, and you will see the very similarly. Okay, even talk about Odekbe. Okay, talk about Odekbe. Odekbe. I have for some of my family members in Odekbe.
It's always like
Oh,
that.
Somali.
Even Edo,
You talk
the
about
part of Edo say they are Yoruba.
You talk about
always have.
Can I ask?
You don't seem to understand that bordering states always struggle with the Somalis in Africa today. Still struggle with the identity with the Yemenis and all the rest. It's the same thing everywhere. You get that point.
Forefathers, when you want to, forefathers, please, with all due respect, when you want to compare my state, don't compare my state with Somali. I have nothing to do with Somali. Please.
Forefathers, here is someone from this place, from Anyoma, telling you who they are, and you're still arguing.
No, I'm not arguing with him. I'm saying that if he's saying that Asaba Kingdom or Asaba people are the same as Onitsha people, historically that has not been true. You know that. Like he's
from that place and he's telling you his history.
It's like saying that Onitsha people are the same as Imo people. They are not the same.
So, you know that. Forefathers, you know his history more than him.
So forefathers, for me, the lesson to draw from all this is the fact that you can't tell people not to identify with their
culture, I'm not telling him not to identify.
With their language, with their anytime.
That is not what I'm saying. Why do you keep making common arguments?
See, what unites a country as one is equity, fairness, and justice. Once people get that, they will proudly call themselves Nigerians. But you cannot tell them
I
to
agree with
their culture, language, or their heritage.
Forget it. Okay. There's no point. I'm not going to bother. Let's not bother with that. I'm not saying he should not identify as himself, but I'm saying that he knows full well that the Asaba people are Asaba people. They are not.
Let me ask. Forefathers, can I shock you? According to Nigerian pastors, can I shock you? If you go to the just as in the south today, most of our people believe that when you go to the north, they are all Hausa people, right? A lot of our people have that perception.
There are people
a lot of our people they have that perception. If you go to the north, most of them believe that those in the south, especially the southeast, south are all Igbos. Yes. Including you, forefathers.
No, in the minor south, my friend.
They do. No, it's true.
You understand? They have that belief.
I know.
They were saying that minor south. Minor south. They don't care. We're all Igbos. We all care.
There are some Northerners that actually believe the whole of South are Igbos.
Yes. Some of them do that. But most of us on this panel know that the North they've got a lot of different groups. The intellectuals in the North, in the South know that they have a lot of different groups.
People are getting education from this panel, to be honest. Some people didn't know that. Yeah, people are getting education from this panel.
As a matter of fact, I think on this panel, I discovered that the complexity in the North was greater than I actually gave it credit for. It seems like they are even more complicated in the North than the South.
Exactly.
Highly complicated.
You have more ethnic groups in the north than you have in the south.
I didn't know that before.
Yeah, you're correct with that.
I didn't know that before. Here is where I learned that fact.
And they will be mad at you if you call them like those minorities. Let me use minority. If you refer to them as Hausas, they'll be very, very mad at you. You'll be surprised that even Maska is not Hausa. You'll be surprised.
No, Maska is Hausa.
From Kano? Is it a Kanuri?
No, it's not Kanuri.
Kanuris are not.
I have a Kanuri friend that would tell me his family, like if you want to marry from the outside, hell no, they will never allow you.
Jago, whenever you want to talk, you can talk. I think he's been Jago's storm for a long time.
Jago is gentle today.
Jago has reserved this.
Always like this.
He wants to talk for straight 15 minutes. He's allowed to talk for straight 15 minutes. He has reserved this spot.
He doesn't like when the conversation is derailed. He doesn't like it.
No. I'm not even sure why people characterize me this way. I'm not sure at all because I have one persona. The only persona I have when I get rather aggressive is when I have to fight to make myself heard. That's the only one. Anyway, it's all interesting to me what people are saying, but at the same time, it feels to me that we are still carrying the agenda of our elites to a large extent, especially to do with geography. When growing up, I grew up when there was the Midwest, even slightly before, when the Western region was the Western region. When it became the Midwest, this is my area. Being from Ondo State, I only need to walk a couple of miles and I'm in Edo. from my mother's area. From my father's area, I only need to walk a couple of miles. And in the Delta, the terrain of these areas is exactly the same. Much of the culture is very similar. You see, when I used to understand the Midwest at the time, I used to look at it at a real microcosm of what Nigeria is. You know, we hear a lot of noise making. So the ones who make the most noise, we believe that's their territory. When it comes to the Delta or even Edo State, the influence of the Yorubas is very, very great. It's not a small thing, but we don't talk like that. We just don't talk like that.
I agree with Jagu.
We can assume the Shekiri as Yorubas, and the Shekiri are a major influence in that area. We can assume them as ours, but we don't. We don't do that. We let those people be themselves if that's who they want to be. And I can't understand for the life of me the way we speak about other people in other terrain. When we talk about the history of that area, if we know it at all, we have to ask ourselves, even though there are Igbos in that area, even though there are Yorubas in that area, is that the land of those people, or is it the land of the king? Because the king at the time, who is the king of Benin, that was his enclave. That's his, all of it, without the Yorubas coming in to do anything. If the king wanted to create slaves, he created slaves. If the king wanted to kill, he killed. So those of us today in this world using all kind of language to amass area or to join in because we feel that we're oppressed, my brother, it's all rubbish. I'm afraid it's rubbish. If you put these things in all honesty, sometimes I wish Nigeria would just allow a real what do they call it, referendum in the East and in the Midwest, and let this referendum really underline who's who, what's what, and what people really believe. If they did that, I can almost guarantee you Biafra will be dead. It will be dead. The amount of people that I take note, I'm a person that takes a lot of note. The amount of people that believe in Biafra in my circles is minimal. In my circles, in my research now around the people, no, I'm being as straight as I possibly can to do. In my research, when I look at the numbers of those who want to join Biafra, there are real hardcore numbers who people have hardcore belief in the whole Biafra entity. But I put it to you that if all of the Igbos were actually to vote for Biafra or no, I don't think they will vote for it, especially if they were given the criteria as to what this enclave would mean. I'll put it to that. Secondly, when we talk about Asabao, the history of that land, we don't talk about because we don't know the history, most of us. We can say, you know, the Benin Empire was large. It was large. Yeah. And it had a lot of slave trading going on. We have to ask ourselves, who is who? Who was who in that empire? Once we get down to the nitty-gritty of who was who, and I'm not going to mention it, I'll let you go and research. Who was who in that empire? We will see if the land belongs to them. So, you know, we are terrible as people. And we have a distinct way of not wanting to appreciate our weakness. We don't know how weak we are, that we are speaking into further weakness. Mm-hmm. This is the one that blows my mind. I've just been listening, and you know, different opinions and struggle. I'm thinking, man, the area that you're speaking of is so underdeveloped for whatever reasons. And before the war, that Asaba, it was a great place before the war. After the war now, everyone is arguing. All I'm putting on this table is that, are we really looking to create peace, or are we looking to create division? And a lot of the times when I listen, it sounds divisive to me. Sounds very divisive. It doesn't sound like anything coming together. It doesn't sound like any passion or forward thinking. It sounds just like, let's break this thing. Let's break it. Let's break it. Let's break it. Break it into what? How many small pieces? Are you going to live on a strip, a shard, and say, this is mine? Are you going to live in a strip? I'm just asking questions. I'm not taking any sides. You people can say exactly what you want to say. I would always listen. But I will put it to you, that is not forward thinking. And I would also put it to you, a great place like Onitsha that is sprawling. If you see the size of Onitsha, if you see, the size is one thing. The disorganization of that area is a completely other thing. That place, it should be the crest of the Niger. There are many cities on the Niger. Many cities. There's Lokaja is there, Mercury is there. They are great places. But Onitsha, in terms of the energy of that place, I've been there a few times. I'm the like that I can walk anywhere in Nigeria. You know what they think? When I'm in Igbo land, they'll think I'm Igbo until I say my name. When I go to the north, they'll think I'm Hausa Fulani until I tell them my name. You understand? I walk anywhere in Nigeria. I don't give a damn. When I was in Onitsha, I saw the most beautiful women dressed in immaculate clothes, walking in mud. They were walking in mud. I see confusion. It was a while ago. I'm sure Onitsha has developed.
That was before P2B came in, right?
Indeed, it was.
Yeah, before P2B.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
Now,
it's not like that anymore.
The way I see Onitsha, it should be a second Lagos. Forget Lagos. It should be Onitsha for real. You know, I used to live in Spain for a good 10 years, and my girlfriend at the time was from Basque country in the north. And when I reached there and I told them that I was Nigerian, they started singing a song to me in Basque language. It went like this: Onitsha, Onitsha, the biggest market. I think, how do these people know about Onitsha? We don't even know how people see us. We have no idea of the power that we have together, and we are fracturing further and further away from the responsibility that Nigerians have to be Nigerians. Now, I tell anyone I'm a Yoruba man, but I understand what Nigeria is supposed to be, given the light of the way the world is at the moment. There is no power base outside of the Western homogeny, and then the Easterners being Russian and Chinese. The Africans have no voice. We are like some quiet sheep, and we're basically not ashamed. We're not ashamed. But I put it to you that place that they call Nigeria, if it was to rise, there isn't. I'm not an economist, even though I studied economy. I studied PPE, and I keep these persuasions close to me because they make sense in terms of the way I see the world. Politics, economics, and philosophy. And in looking at these areas of discipline, I can see quite clearly how Nigeria can control West Africa, can control Francophone Africa, and emerge as the most powerful unit in this planet. But none of us look at that. I want my slice of the vision. It's pathetic when we hear it. I understand there's going to be arguments between ourselves, or I do perfectly understand that. But the fact of the matter is, where my mother is from, in Ifon, there is a village right next to it called Akure, and both of these, not Akure, Ikaro, Ifon and Ikara are right next to each other. And then there we come across a river, a quiet terrain river, and then you're in Edo State. Now, these people are completely different from each other. I have family in both. They are completely different in culture, in the way they speak, everything. Yet they are close because they know themselves. They are close. There's never been an argument between them. Even though we are quite different, we intermarry, we interplay, and we know where is Ikaro, and we know where is Ifon. There's no argument about it. Yes, it's all in Ondo State, but That is not the point. The point is that these are two distinctly different peoples who know each other. They've built a relationship. I put it to everybody on this platform. I don't want to be tribalistic if that's what it will come out like. But the way I look at the Yoruba people differently, we are not so territorial, so to speak, because I think we have a different confidence about who we are. And I think when it comes to
I would differ on this.
Fair enough. When it comes to influence, however, we are influencers, and we would influence, and we can take on influences from outside of ourselves, and that's basically what the negotiation is. That's what the negotiation. You don't have to stamp on somebody's throat to tell them who you are and why you should and X, Y, Z. Whose throat are you stamping on? Who are you to stamp on my throat? Me, I'm not a man of peace, or when it comes to this level, I'm just not a man of peace. I'm a man that will take up arms. I'm a man that will back myself. So when people are speaking in such staunch ways, I find it crass. I find it below culture. I find it cultureless. Who are you? Are you more than another human being? Who are you, for God's sake, that you can speak in this authoritative way that you must have and you must be? My brother, the whole aspect of the world that we're living in is called negotiation. And we, as a peoples, are not negotiating anything that benefits us. Because we've been stolen from in such a tough way that we are not appreciating that all of us have lost. They say, I want to grab this for myself. To me, bro, I must say, the way I've seen this conversation go, it's gone from a point of speaking about Pizza Obi and what this one and that one, and quite political, topical, the way we do this. So, and then it delved into an area that really, I feel, divides us deeply. And in the division, I can't see how we're going to build forward. I can't see the muscle, the energy that we need. Because Yoruba, Igbo, Ishekiri, Hausa, there's not one of us that's strong enough to take on the entity of the powers that actually be. None of us. Who are you? You're an arsehole, as far as I'm concerned. So what if you're Yoruba and you want to boast about being Yoruba? You're an arsehole.
Easy in the with your language, please. Yeah, there are people.
I beg your pardon. I just want to say that alone in that country, we might stand, but we aren't strong.
Jagun, hold
on. We have to salute this long delivery by Jagun. I think it's a masterpiece. Need to, apart from the a-hole, but it's a masterpiece. You have to commend it.
It's a huge elephant.
Just give me a minute. I just want to respond to some of the things. Just a minute. Jagun, you have some valid opinions, right? However, when it comes to the issue of
okay, let Kene finish, then I'll call on you.
When it comes to the issue of Nigerians not being territorial, I think you got it all wrong there. That identity is one thing you never take out from every Nigerian. And it comes to the Yoruba that you started example with, is in record that the longest war in Nigeria, the war that has lasted for up to 100 years, was from Yoruba land. So they have Yoruba groups fighting each other.
But it wasn't because of territory. It wasn't because of territory, that war. Those wars were because of the Oyo Empire, the breakdown of the Oyo Empire. The Oyo and had a lot to do with slavery.
So apart from that,
it was a pathetic war. It was another pathetic war that we could learn from.
Let me. There were many other sub wars, among the Yoruba subgroups, right? But this is it. I don't know how you've already conducted a referendum for the Southeasterners, right? I don't know how you did that. But the fact still remains that we, the Southeasterners, have been calling for referendum. So I think I will urge you now to support us. Let your voice be heard. Call for the referendum in the Southeast. Let now test to see if the referendum that you did for us was actually accurate or not. That way,
I conducted the referendum. I plead with you to understand me well. I've not conducted referendum. I'm just saying, in my opinion,
yes,
there will be
opinionated
honestly,
referendum.
let me add something that I think something Jagmu said. Don't worry, righteous man, I'm coming. Something Jagmu said I need to highlight that I'm not sure whether he knew what he said, but I hope he did. He said something about the Europeans being influencers. You see, this thing that what he said there, I've noticed it in reality. And I've always been looking at the trends around, and not only in Nigeria, also outside Nigeria. Many of the people that they took outside Nigeria to the Americas and all the rest, if you look at the culture that tend to emerge the most, is Yorubas. It doesn't mean that they were the ones that were taken out the most, but they tend to have a way of making having their culture emerge, not because they fought anybody, but they tend to influence people to come on the outside. So I think there's some truth to what he said there. And he talked about Ondo, walk from Ondo to Edo State, how similar they are. You always have that. And I don't know why people that live in bordering states don't understand that this is the name of the game. You always turn between one side and the other. It's always like that. Please, the righteous man, go ahead.
It's supposed to be
thank you very much. Jegu, I salute you. You look so handsome tonight. No, you've always been a very handsome guy, but you are standing tonight. You know.
Jegu is always handsome, my friend.
I've not heard that before. Thank you.
I acknowledge it. I say he's always handsome, but he's standing tonight. You know, he's standing. I agree with you, but not in all. You know. For example, somebody did make reference to Ebema. Now, after the war, I was born in Rivers State. My parents owned properties in Rivers State before the war. And after the war, they lost all. With the formation or declaration of what they call abandoned property. Okay? So my parents relocated to Imo State, precisely Ebema. Now, this Ebema is bordering a town called Awara, Asa, Obile, Obuti. Okay, then when oil was discovered in Ebema, there is a town in Ebema called Oba. Now, when oil was discovered in Ebema, the military junta that was creating state decide to balkanize the Igbo lands where oil had been discovered and ceded it to other states in order to reduce the economic power of the Igbos, referencing to what happened during the war. Because up to today, I ask myself a question. Why would my father lose his properties? He was not Ojuku. He did not declare war. By virtue of his language and tribe and race, he has to lose what belongs to him. We're supposed to be my inheritance, my children's inheritance. But we lost it because a war was fought between two brothers. And the war has ended. And you declare no victor, no vanquish. Then you set up what is called 3R, the construction, the integration, and I've forgotten the third R, which means reconstruction, reintegration. The third R, I've forgotten it. Now,
okay, go ahead.
Now, if these 3R were carried out, the aim of this policy was to bring the Igbos, the main core Igbos, not living outside the 5 states that we have now, reintegrated to be part of Nigeria fully. Now, but in enacting this policy,
are you saying that Igbema was Igbo?
Hold on, let me finish. You ask me a question because that's where I attended my primary school after the war. So I can speak to you about Igbema in the whole of this section we are in. But let me just, I will get to answer you that question. Now, if these people have been accepted to be part of Nigeria again, why declaring their properties as abandoned property? Let me cite an example. There was a Berlin Wall that divided the East Germans and the West Germans. After the Second World War, the Americans took over the West Germans, and Russia was in charge of the East Germany. When that war collapsed, the Germans unified and became one. In their history, in the property owning or sharing of power, they don't make reference to that division that happened that time. So after the Biafran War, why is it that the government of Nigeria and sub-nations in Nigeria, like states, still activate the issue of abandoned property that made my father to lose all he made in life as a young man while he was growing up to the Rivers indigenes? And today, those properties that my parents labored to build are being occupied and owned by those who never suffered for it. That's number one. Number two, the Egbema in question, Egbema is not Egbema, it's Egbema, Egbema. It is a full-fledged Igbo land. The oil was discovered. Hold on, I'm coming. The oil that was discovered in a town called Maho. Maho is in Egbema. Then, when they were balkanizing the states, they splitted Egbema into two. What we have now is Egbema 1, Egbema 2, just like we have Uguta 1, Uguta 2. And the Uguta 1, Uguta 2 is even understandable because there is a river, a lake, that they splitted the two villages. We now have Uguta 1, Uguta 2. But in the case of Egbema, the only thing that the military junta used in dividing this town is because of oil. Greater oil was discovered in Omaho side, where you have the burning gas up to today, and they ceded it to River State. Where they have lesser oil, in the same Egbema, they ceded it to Imo State. The same people, the same king, the same tradition before the discovering of oil. So you discover that there is an attempt by the state to reduce the influence of the Igbos economically, politically, and otherwise, as far as the Nigerian state is concerned, making reference to the Biafran War.
But can I ask you, do you think that other states don't have these features too?
As far as, hold on, I am...
No, he's not going to answer the question. Every other state has the same problem. Ijaw people were split into multiple states.
Hold on. I don't know whether you are Ijaw, then you can speak for your people.
No, I'm giving you
but
examples.
I'm telling you,
if you look at it, I'm giving you examples.
Hold on now. Godfather, can you allow me to finish? Let me finish, then you ask me a question. Okay. Now, the reason why it seems as Igbos are agitating for a separate state in Nigeria from Nigeria, it is because of this unwarranted marginalization that occurred if the natural resources were not discovered in Ebwema, where I grew up and had my primary education. There wouldn't have been the splitting of that town to 2 states. It would have still remained in Imo State. Then, when you talk of federal appointments, it is being done not on merit, which affects every region in Nigeria, accepted. Because if it is a country where merit is considered in appointments, most people today that are occupying one position or the other wouldn't have been there. It would have been on merit, that you are qualified based on the information that is available concerning you. But it is not done that way. And if with the area I agree with Jago is this: in the heart of every Igbo man, we want a bigger country where justice, equity, and fair play is recognized. But in a state or in a country where equity, justice, and fair play is not recognized, every average Igbo man will opt out, because we are Republicans in nature. We're a egalitarian society in nature. We don't depend on others in order to stand in life. Every Igbo man believes that he can strive to be whom he wants to be without relying on you helping him out or thereabout.
So
that is
Righteous Man, quick question. Can you be specific? Okay. I need you to be specific. Can you state here, because of the public, during Obasanjo and Goodluck Jonathan, nobody marginalized the Southeast? Can you be specific, or you also stand on your point? Do you agree to that during Goodluck Jonathan and during Obasanjo, nobody sidelined the Southeast?
Did I allude to political marginalization or state marginalization?
I'm specific. During Obasanjo and Goodluck Jonathan,
AY.
There is no region in Nigeria that was marginalized in terms of appointment. Can you agree to that?
AY. You are making reference to political appointments.
What appointment are you talking about?
You are making reference to political appointments, and that is not the area I'm going to.
But you said political appointment.
Hold on. The project OVU Project Freedom. Please, what is the breaking news? You want to let us know, because you are putting breaking news. I don't know what's going on. Please let us know what the breaking news is, because see, this sounds like a double breaking news you are announcing here. I will be happy to hear it. OVU Project Freedom.
Father, the only thing you guys are not discussing today, not on the agenda, the federal government, they just got loan of about $2.something billion from World Bank, right? So me, I was thinking, like, if they want to share the money, so I don't know how to collect my share, just divide it by Nigeria. So they got that money. So you guys need to discuss it, because I need my share, man.
Okay,
my share of the money. I don't need road again. May they share, may they send my money come.
Is that the breaking news?
So
I don't think so. No.
So
back to, I don't know what the news though.
Back to the issue we're discussing. Why I made this statistics analysis?
Rubbish. No, don't worry. I think he's saying something that doesn't make sense. Nothing serious. See, OVU Project, what is this now? Yeah, I thought something serious was happening in the country. Please go ahead, Righteous Man.
So, why I have to take to the direction I took in trying to analyze what Jagu said was the people, the man who came from Anioma, Asaba, to said he wants to belong to where his brothers are. And the demand for a creation of one state. That is the area I'm coming from. Demand for a creation of one state. If you ask me, I wouldn't want it to come from the present 5 states. Rather, I would want it to come from the present Delta state. Because some of my friends that are from Orobo, I am telling you, and heaven is a witness, when we discuss, they will tell me, instead of the siting of the state capital instead of citing it in Warri, Mary and Babangida influenced it, and they now cited it in Asaba. That Asaba does not merit it. And because they are not happy that Asaba was declared the state capital of Delta State, there is no visible government project to elevate the status of Asaba compared to other state capitals. That my brother that spoke, he said that the buildings you are seeing there today was because the people from Anambra and Enugu came into Asaba to invest their money in building. If not, that place would have been bushy, because the government of Delta State is not actually working or doing anything substantial in that place, because they do not consider that area to be the state capital. The Orobo speaking people. Now, my friend that is an Orobo man always refer to Delta speaking Igbos as Igbos. I am telling you the gospel truth. He will tell me, he say, those of Guasha Saba, he say, Lukumunede, Obiaruku, and the rest of it, he said they are Igbos. Whether they agree they are Igbos or not, that they're from that tribe, Orobos, consider them as Igbos, and that is what they are. Remember when Buhari was the president, when the Igbos were complaining they were marginalized in appointment, the reference point that Buhari made was the former central bank governor, Emefiele. He said their son, Emefiele, have been appointed as central bank governor. So what do they want? He was referring to the Igbos. So if anybody from Igbo-speaking Delta says he is not Igbo or she's not Igbo, don't argue with that person. Don't fight with that person. That is the personal opinion. After all, some people have disowned being Nigerians, and they're taking citizenship and naturalization in other countries, and they are not considered as the citizen of those countries. Nobody goes against them. It is a personal choice. Anybody can choose to belong or choose not to belong. It's not a case. But if we, by what we profess, we want to say we are one, everything should be done with fair and justice being the focal point in whatever we are doing. In Nigeria as of today, the issue of justice is not there. What we are seeing in everyday political appointments is marginalization. Coming back to AY, during Obasanjo regime, Obasanjo was a former military man. Obasanjo was a former military commander-in-chief, president. Obasanjo knew the intricacies in Nigeria, and he understood it very well. Obasanjo was the one who negotiated the end of the civil war. When he took over the reins of Nigeria as president of Nigeria, Obasanjo had an agenda of bringing the whole Nigeria as one, unifying the whole country. So his political appointment based on PDP constitution was equal. No tribe will say they were robbed or they are cheated. This man came on board also, Jonathan, from South. And if you listen to Jonathan PDP rally in Onitsha, was it in Oka or Onitsha? The last time, 2015, before that election, he said that his largest supporters are people from the 5 states of the East. If you go to Google it, you will see it there. Because the Igbos saw it that this is the time power should shift to the South. And then, being from South, they are our neighbors, they are our brothers. And Igbo man through support to PDP. That is the reason why the Igbos are angry that when it is the time for South to support us, for Obi to emerge as the presidential candidate of PDP in last election, the Wike started playing that game that happened during the war. He started betraying his brother. He started sponsoring. That was the reason why when this information got to the people that are in PDP, the advice will be, including Obasanjo, for Obi to leave PDP and find a neutral party where he can contest and his people will support him. You remember that Wike was in Anambra State during the campaign, and what Wike said is, oh, don't waste your vote. You have only 5 states. There is no way you will ever win. You cannot win. Don't waste your vote. Oh, you cannot win. Only 5 states. And that is an abuse. That is an assault to the Igbo people. That is regarding us that we don't have political influence in Nigeria. And because we have 5 states cannot give you presidency. Are you understanding what is happening? That is why there is a need to take some Igbo towns and Igbo villages in the present on Anambra State and Imo State and Delta State to carve Anioma State. I support it because it has the merit. And those who say that the Igbo-speaking deltas do not have oil, please go and Google it. The Igbo-speaking deltas have almost about 27 oil wells. Go and Google it. I have been in one of the towns where this oil is located, oil and gas.
Okay, now hold on. Let me just add something. You see, there are certain things we have to get right. And I think I'm just going to say this so that we understand certain things. Like Southwest, North, South, and in short, not South, Southwest and Northern people, they are actually very different from the way the Igbo areas are structured. Now, in terms of strategically, like if you look at these areas, they have neighboring Igbo people next to the Yoruba people next to them here, and they have access to the sea. Clearly, they are not held bounded by any other group, no other major group holding them back. The same thing you can say by the north. The north, they border so many other these nations actually. So not, but if you look at the Igbo people, they are in just this area. If you give them almost the whole Edo area, look at that's where they are. And sometimes I feel like in Nigeria, because of population, we just think that okay, yeah, let's just have as much power as everybody else. When or even nature is even against you. You also have to understand that there are certain things that are working against Southwest and Southeasterners. It's not only just people being biased and all the rest. There are things working against them. They don't have the advantage that others have. I just thought I should highlight that. And if you say they own 20-something oil wells in the Delta, it's still not the majority of the oil wells in Delta State. Delta State had a whole load of oil coming from that area. That's why they get the highest this is allocation from Nigeria. So, but if they, like you said, if anybody decides that they want to be Igbo, they are allowed to be Igbo, and everybody should be able to self-identify. Nobody should stop anybody from saying if they want to be Igbo, they should be Igbo. Nobody should say if they say they want to be part of Delta, they should be part of Delta. No, you cannot force people to be what they are not. I think that we are all in agreement on that one.
Forefather, please, can I interject you? Forefather, you said nature is against us. Can you withdraw that statement?
I'm not saying nature,
you are not God. No. Can you withdraw that statement, Mr. Mao? Why would you use that statement? You said nature is against us. What do you mean by that?
Hold on. Let me talk. I think
that is a wrong usage of word. You can't use that word.
If you don't let somebody talk, how are you supposed to let me talk? I get what you are saying. I withdraw it where it came across to you. But the way I intended to put it was that there are things geopolitically, geographically that is working against Southeasterners. If let's say Southeasterners were bordering Cameroon and all those sort of things have access to the sea, it's very different. The dynamics will be different. You know that.
But there are Igbos in Cross River State that borders Cameroon. Are you aware? Yeah, but the man was interviewed. Forefather, listen. Can I have your phone? I will send you some documentaries. The man was interviewed last week. The man was interviewed last week.
Does not have access to the sea.
Hold on. Not only
does Northern Nigeria have access to the sea?
Hold on.
Why
Yeah,
would you say
question.
that nature is against us?
One at a time. One at a time.
Righteous man, he has withdrawn it. He has apologized.
I've already withdrawn it the way it came across because it looks like I was saying nature is against Igbo people. No, that's not what I'm saying.
Guys, sorry, if I can, because you know, people have a lot to say. I would like to hear from Seku. In terms of, he hasn't. He said one. Before we just get into the love argument,
yeah,
I would like somebody to kind of balance what we're saying. If we can allow people to speak.
Jago, hold on. I've taken your point into account. See, when you are talking about Igbos who have been in Cameroon, there are Hausa people in this is Sudan too. It doesn't mean that they have a connection directly to like landmass, because there are, we know Ibibio people are there. The Akwa Ibom people, they are all there in the Cameroonian and the same border. So that it's not the same. What I'm saying is that if you look at it strategically, anybody that is looking from strategic mindset, they will say, okay, these are the things working against that region in terms of because they have the population. Let's make no mistake, the Southeast has the population, but they don't have the same gifts that the others have in terms of that strategic positioning. Even if the North, they don't have access to the sea, they are bordering other nations that are in the North. They are bordering a whole other, they are free. There's nothing compressed, holding them into any small territory. If they want to do anything, they can expand out anywhere they want to expand into. But it is not the same easily for Igbo people. Igbo people have to expand into other areas. So they are constrained because of it. So that's my point. I'm not just trying to be mean or anything. Who else?
Let's Seku speak.
Somebody wants to, Pastor raise his hand, then Seku will have his say.
Seku, please, please,
Seku, you know he's a man of God. Let him speak first.
If you like, call me man of heaven. That's already intimidates me. Leave that one there. We don't do this business. Father, a lot of people have accused you of being biased and unfair, which I have defended you, but you just did that to me just now.
How do you mean? You said I was getting married next weekend.
I put out a breaking news there. You put it out there, but you did not. I mean, why would you do such a thing? Can you please allow people to see the breaking news? I don't understand.
You said I'm getting married next weekend. Who am I getting married to? Let me look for the breaking news.
How come you did not invite us now? Why are you behaving like this?
I'm getting married to ChatGPT. That I'm getting married to ChatGPT.
I saw the collateral comment.
No mind them. I don't know where this one came from. Suddenly I'm getting married. Who is going to marry me when I'm coming online every day? You think women put up this rubbish?
A lot of women here. If you put in the advert, a lot of women apply on the comment section. Trust me.
Okay, let's.
Forefathers, you did not answer my question, no.
Sorry, what was the question? What was the question?
Is there do the northern part, the northern region, do they have access to the sea? Just the way you questioned if the southeast,
the point I was making
that the southeast doesn't have access to the sea.
They don't have any major. They are bordering nations. They can expand out.
So and then let's assume according to your opinion now, which is not true, that the southeast doesn't have access to the sea. If southeast happens to become Biafra today, we will border Nigeria. How about that? Just the way the northern Nigeria border Chad and Niger.
Border Nigeria because South is there.
No, it's okay. South wouldn't it be part of Nigeria? Let's assume that South is part of Nigeria. So what's the problem if we border Nigeria? South part of Nigeria.
No. What I mean by that is that I'm just trying to explain some of the inequities that appears to be like when somebody says a Southeasterner says the Yoruba people have an advantage or Northerners have an advantage. I'm trying to let
we Southeast. See, I don't know. See, forefathers, I always questioned you. Right? I always want to know your interest when it comes to the Southeast. What actually is the problem? Because we, the Southeasterners, say we want to have our own country.
Fine.
Just the way,
let's Sekal go.
You see, you won't even allow me to talk.
Sorry, let's allow Sekal go. You don't want to.
You do it professionally.
It's my own analysis. It's not by force. You don't have to.
You don't just mute me randomly like that. You do it professionally.
Okay, how do I do it professionally? Please, can I?
But I was still talking.
But he was the one that was supposed to be speaking instead of you.
Then you tell me that somebody wants to speak instead of just putting me randomly.
Somebody wants to speak. Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Sekao, please go ahead.
Yeah, I want to make my last contribution before I go. But before I make my comment, I just want to disagree with you, forefather. The Southeast, I've been in your country, by the way, for 10 years. And I've traveled around. I know the Southwest. I've been some little part of the Southeast. The Southeast, it's a myth. When they say it's landlocked, it's actually a myth. And also, there are many territories of the Southeast that have been added to other places that were done by the military government purposely. But that part of the country is now an issue, even if there's no sea. There are many countries in Africa, Mali and other places that don't have sea, but they are doing well. But that's just by the way. My main comment is going to be, I'm addressing a Jagun. Jagun made a very interesting submission, which it jumped over our head that we didn't hear it very well. He said, it doesn't matter you are Igbo or you are Yoruba, but when you look at the global competition, does your Igbo-ness able to compete with Chinese? Does your Hausa-ness is able, that's what he implied, I'm paraphrasing. Is it able to comply or compete with the global economy that we have? I think your Nigerianness carry more weight than your tribal identity. But unfortunately, what has happened to we Africans all over, including me and our country, I think we still hold on to our tribal identity. We still hold on to we pay allegiance to our kings, molding our citizenship. And I think what we should realize in 2024 is that we are citizens. And to be a citizen is actually, you are not subject to any kings and all the tribal thing. We need to really look at it in a very broad perspectives, that our tribal identity can only hold us back as a people, Black people. All other people on the planet had tribes and they overcame it. The Chinese are not united. They have different languages. People think China is one, but you have to go to China and realize every region in China has a language. But they came to a point where they have a common interest they need to fit. India have thousands of languages. In fact, their skin color is not the same. The Indians in the south, the Indians in the north, the phenotype is not the same. But they have one country called India. So I think Nigeria, we are the same race, you are the same race, same people, West Africans. And if our historians do justice and they go back 2,000-3,000 years, they will find out that there's more in common. We have more in common than actually what we think we have in difference. So that's why you see sometimes the languages in one region overlaps. The Ikwere man will say he's not Igbo, but when you trace his ancestor, they are all the same people. So I think we need to elevate the conversation and say, how do we detribalize? How do we detribalize the consciousness of the African to see himself as a citizen to contribute to a country? And for me, my solution to that, I say, every successful nation is built around either an idea or is built around a personality. For Nigeria, Nigeria is not built around a personality because every region have their hero. The North will say Amadou Bello is our hero. The South West will say it is Awolowo. The Southeast will say it's Nnamdi Azikiwe. So there is no Nigerian hero. So the Nigeria has to be born. It must be born with an idea. What is that idea? I think that's what we discussed the last time. The Nigeria has to define what idea should we unite around. Definitely not Islamic. Definitely not Christian. What is the Nigerian idea that we should unite around? That's where the question is.
Don't start talking. Nobody says you should talk. I'm doing it professionally now. I'm doing it professionally. Hold on, professionally. No, let me give him his this in kudos. I like that. I don't like that you disagree with me, but I agree with your the thrust of your argument. Go ahead, AY.
Himself and Jagu, they've actually makes very strong point today. To be honest, I don't know, Jagu. I think you slept very well yesterday. Your submission, I'm still thinking about it.
Stop this comedy of yours.
So, Father, I love that topic, right?
Hey, why are you indicting Jago? Are you indicting him?
No. Leave me and Jago. Jago is my brother. Don't worry yourself. So let me tell you this, Father. He made mention of something. I want you show electricity. That's a topic. How do we detribalize? That's a topic. Let's have that discussion. It's a very strong.
It's a good point. That's why I thought
Ekene will not come that day. I know people like Ekene will not come. It's okay, but
look at Kene. Kene doesn't like that. Kene doesn't
like it.
Kene's shaking. You know, Kene, you do have a lot of gifts. You know, I don't know why you're. It's all right. I can't tell you what to do. It's all good.
No, tell me, or maybe I don't know what I'm supposed to do to help me.
That's a good one. Okay, Kene, go ahead.
Okay, the truth is, Sekau, I like your submission, but the truth you and I know is Nigeria, just as you set an example with China, we have different ethnicities, background, different way of thinking and reasoning and all that. And it is so in-depth that it is very difficult to remove from us, right? So the idea of detribalizing Nigeria, I will wish you good luck with that. Nigerians are very tribalistic people. You can't change it. It didn't start today. It has been in existence long ago. But the call for unity among Nigerians is something that we've tried. We've tried everything possible to create that unity, and it is not working. And in order for peace to reign among us, like in order for us to live like human beings that are supposed to look after one another, right? The best thing is for everybody to move to his house and take care of his own problem in his own house. And that is why some of us are calling for regional system of governance. But one part of Nigeria said, no, there shouldn't be anything like regional. We said, okay, can we play that true federal system that you guys say that you are practicing, whereby states, individual states, would take care of their business and then contribute a little to the federal government? They said no. So what kind of unity are you trying to build in a house that is filled with chaos, in a house that has no foundation? That house that has no foundation can never stand. Nigeria has no foundation at all. Nigeria, if it has a foundation, that foundation must be a faulty one, which I don't think it has one. So if we want to be peaceful in that country, we will be able to tell ourselves the truth. Is it not your fellow human being that stood up in the National Assembly and said that cows have more rights than human beings? So it is okay for one to rear his cow, have his cow encroach in another person's source of livelihood and destroy it so that the other person will go hungry. And then you have no solution for that. You don't call your people and say, if you want to rear cows, build a ranch for your cow, go and buy food for your cow. Just the way other people have poultry, they go and buy poultry feeds for their poultry. Just the way other people own goats and they go buy goat food. They go buy pig food for their pigs to rear their pigs and sell for profit. So if you want to rear cow, build a ranch for your cow, buy food for your cow, sell your cow for profit. It is a private business. But today, they are now telling us that federal government has to take the money that everybody that we own collectively to build ranches for them. Then how about my people that rear pigs? Why can't you come and build pig farms for my people? Why can't you come and build a dog farms or poultry for my people with federal government money? So that is the injustice that we are talking about. Nigeria is filled with injustices. There is no way you can build unity in Nigeria. If you want to build unity in Nigeria, continue. Good luck with that. It will never happen.
See,
That is the point.
regarding that pig one, I think the reason why they are thinking of building for like the Fulanis who herd their cow is because they are going to sacrifice their lifestyle. That is the difference.
No, we have lifestyles.
Can I say this?
Everybody has in the Southeast, we have lifestyles. Yorubas have lifestyles.
But it's
But
not.
you can't take your lifestyle to now use it to blackmail others so that you have your way. If you don't own the country.
There's a saying.
And these people, you're getting wrong. These people are not actually Nigerians. They are invaders. They are foreigners. If they are in Nigerians, then we can talk as Nigerians. We can sit down and talk. The real Nigerian Fulanis are not troublemakers. They don't encroach people's farm. Even if they encroach people's farm by mistake.
They're not foreigners, so they are Nigerians. People that are carrying cows, most of them are
Nigerians. Most of these people that are encroaching into people's farm and killing people, raping women, are not Nigerians. They are Fulanis, but they are not of Nigerian origin.
I don't know. It's not a fact. They said Nigerians own the cows for one.
Let's not go back and forward.
No, it's a fact. The former governor of Kaduna State would disagree with you because he said that they rented them, they hired them to come to Nigeria and help them in the election. Now, these people refuse to go back. Rather, what they did is to go bring their brothers from Mauritania and all those Senegalese area. They go and bring their people and say, hey, we have free food here. People's farm
look at the
free
room.
food for their cows.
Look at the room. Don't just go back and forth. Look at the room.
It's true.
Well, all I want to say is really, but let me say this very quickly, please. Can I say this very quickly, sir? I understand what Sekou has said, and I kind of disagree. I disagree because when we use this word tribalism or all these are not our language. They're not our language. We must stop using these people's language to try and conscientize ourselves. It doesn't conscientize me. I'm fully tribal, fully 100% Yoruba, and I'm not giving out for any single one of you people. You understand? You know that they massacred those people in the Americas. Some of them are called Chictaw. Some of them are Apache. Some of them are Crow. So without us knowing their specific origin of who these people are and how they're different from the other and how they are related to the other, we don't know that there was. Wait, let me land. We do not have
maybe
any
they would
idea.
have been wiped out if they were united. Don't you think so?
No, wait a minute, bros. What I'm trying to put to you is that these people are largely wiped out. However,
because they were not united.
Please hold on. It's not an argument. I'm just trying to put forward an understanding of the way we use language and how it is corrupting to us. It's corrupting. Wait, let me just land, please. All I'm saying is that there are these people all over the world who have been exited from the planet. We don't even know who they are. They've been exited. Whatever gifts that they had to give to the world, Otiton, no more. Now, I put it to you like this, that tribalism isn't our real problem. Even though we squabble and we are being manipulated by the powers above, our issue is that we have no forward thinking. How are you going to, there's no way you can extricate Igbo from being African. You cannot pluck them out and throw them away and ask them to wash their head and come back as a what? What should they come back as? Something that has been given. No, look, my guys, we have to understand what is being played out in this planet. We also have to understand our heritage, our personal heritage is of strict importance. Because why? Because it goes back to somewhere. And that somewhere where it goes back to, we are not even properly attached to it. We have forgotten more than we know as to who we are and how we're supposed to conduct ourselves. I'm not sure if you understand that each day that goes on, the human polity gets worse, not better. It gets worse. If you think that the Western regions, because of the way that they've taken over the world, that, oh, they must be fantastic. Oh, let's follow them. I'm afraid that you are horribly mistaken. I live in the West like the rest of you who are here. Me, I've lived here for a long time. I understand white people better than any of you. Because I'm just listening to how you speak. We speak about them in full praise, that they've done everything right, and we're the ones who have done everything wrong. I'm sorry, I do not conduct that influence in my head. I know the wickedness that they have brought to our table. So all I'm putting to you people who want to use the word detribalize, I'm saying to you that that word doesn't belong in our vernacular. It really doesn't belong to us, because it can't happen. We're too strong. We've gone on too long at this particular time. We've gone on too long. The thing that we've got to do is appreciate who we are. We are these people. We are these people. That's us. It's me. If you want to call my name, it's me. Yoruba man, I'm standing up. Are you with me? You want me to stand up for Nigeria before being Yoruba? When Nigeria is not a country. Nigeria is not a country. The people that will put Nigeria together are those indigenous to that geographical space. That's when it has meaning. That's when Nigeria would have meaning. From when Nigeria has meaning, West Africa would have meaning. From when West Africa would have meaning, the whole of Africa would have meaning, the whole of Africans throughout the world. If you know, when I was growing up in this land, most of the Jamus and all these other people, they didn't want to be, it was only me in my class as a black person. When they used to ask me, where are you from? I would tell them I'm Nigerian. They would ask the Jamu people, where are you people from? They'll say, I'm from England. I was born in England, but my mum's Jamaican. I didn't have that kind of rubbish in my head. I didn't have it in my head because I knew who I was. There's so many people that don't know who they are. What do you expect them to do? Most of the Caribbean and American people are looking for leadership, and they're looking for that leadership from us who are African. How can we not call our name? I'm really wanting us to really grow up with the pettiness that we deal with. How can you say that you are not of no tribe? Tell me how you can say that you have no tribe. I have no tribe. What kind
I don't think that's what he said. I don't think that's
I'm sorry to be this thing.
Yeah, I have to respond very quickly to you, Jagun. So I was before just 1 minute, please.
Yeah, go ahead, Second.
So what I did say, I said we have to start thinking as citizens, and as citizens we have to see people based on the content of their character, not what ethnic group. Because what a tribalism is different from belonging to a tribe. Tribalism is an ideology to say that my tribe first, my tribe is better. It is that toxic ideology that have made our country not to move forward.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, so let's give an example. What did Africa fall? Historians give two reasons. One, we were having petty tribal war among ourselves. That made the European to easily penetrate. Let's take Ghana, for example. The Ashanti were fighting the other groups. So what the British do is to give guns to the other group to attack the other one.
Fair enough. This can be said.
As long as we keep fighting among ourselves in this petty fight, then we can never be strong enough to stand.
I can tell you, bros, I can tell you that the Yorubas were even more petty. Because the Yorubas, wait, understand this. Yeah, so that we don't take it like we were fighting against another tribe. The Yorubas were fighting amongst themselves.
Right, that's what I'm
just
saying.
Let him finish, because I think both of you are in the same position. It's just the way what it is. You are all in the same way.
We have to be challenging each other based on political ideology, not based on, because I didn't choose my tribe, you didn't choose your tribe. It's something you were born into. So now we have to elevate the conversation to do that, to detribalize our mind. An average Hausa man, to speak to Igbo, he said, Nyamiri, one and Nyamiri. He doesn't even know why he's calling an Igbo man Nyamiri, because that's what he's taught from childhood, and he judged an Igbo man as Nyamiri. So I'm saying
this is why, bros, if I may, I've understood you, but all I'm saying, you see, these words, these terminologies that we use, they're corrupted in themselves. Because by the time you ask somebody to detribalize, it's not asking them to enter into citizenship necessarily. It's asking them to forgo themselves as human beings. Yes, that language. I'm sorry, my brother. We have to be careful of the language that we inherit. This English language of ours that we use anyhow, bruh, I'm not sure all of us understand the depth of this English language. The English language is the thing that they use to prison us. Just language alone. They will put you in chains.
But for me, the only reason I use
Sekao, let me take this with
I will just finish, sir.
I know you're going to finish. Sekao, you're going to finish. Let me add to what Django is saying. what you are saying, this in the Seka, because you use the term detribalize, that is what is triggering Jagun.
Oh.
But in reality, Jagun is for, I like to think that he is for us manifesting our national identity to be able to achieve a goal and still have our own tribal identity. And I'm sure, Seka, you are not saying that you should denounce your tribe. Is that what you're saying? Exactly. So you're not that far apart. It's just the language that triggered this in Jagun.
Right.
Truly.
Because
Truly.
one of the example I have, one of the longest empire in Africa that stayed longer was the ancient Egyptian empire. The pharaohs from the south, from Sudan, and the pharaohs in the north that you call Egypt today, they came together and built
the Kushites and the Kemet.
The Kushite and the Kemet. It lasted for 3,000 years. Why? They were different tribes, but the pharaohs united all of them under a culture, so that it is your tribe does not supersede your nationality. Your nationality comes first. Your tribe is just a ceremonial identity that you have, but it is defined within the larger context of your national identity. The pharaohs did it successfully. Their empire lasted 3,000 years. I'm saying we have to think towards that, so that we don't marginalize ourselves into little sections and groups, and that will never help us. That's all.
Forefather was correct. Forefather was correct in terms of terminology. Oh, bros, I Seko, my brother, I always like when you come on the show. I think you've got a lot to offer us all. It's just that, you know, honestly, I'm here speaking to my brothers and sisters, Africans, that we have an urgent responsibility. And being in the West for as long as I've been in the West, my observations tell me that we are following these people too far up the anus. That the extra browning that we are giving ourselves is going ununderstood. And I'm saying that we have to remove our head from the yash and stand up as men. Because, bruh, these people aren't leading us anywhere. We have to wake up without putting we have to wake up. All this language that we are speaking, you know, is true. You see, our heritage as Africans is that we basically birthed the whole planet. We are that cradle. And if you want to divorce your mind from that fact, just understand that we have basically, there are more different ethnicities on the African continent than there are ethnicities in the rest of the world. Put that to mind and understand the job or what Africans have done. A lot of people would like to oppress us as, oh, we've not attributed anything to history. That's just a blatant lie, but that's the lie they've told us since our birth. And many of us have swallowed it, hook, line, and sinker, that we haven't contributed anything. And this is the poison that's inside of us. If me or, you know, the Yorubas, in terms of metallurgy, it goes back far. It goes back a long way. It can be traced. You understand how far it goes back. However, it's such, to my mind, that the Igbos were doing metallurgy just as long, if not longer. And it's there in their land. Am I going to deny that it came from them or they had a part in it? Why would we do that? Because when we come out of Nigeria now, we understand that people in Zimbabwe, people in South Africa, the oldest mine in the world, 43,000 years is what they're telling us. All these years, I'm not sure, but that's what they're telling us. They're telling us that gold in the rest of the world came out of Zimbabwe, and the Zimbabwe gold is the gold that initially built the value that we build into gold. We don't know these things. We don't even care about it. It was said that in Jamaica, the Africans that were taken there built the first engine or combustion engine that led us into the Industrial Revolution. Now, without historians, we have no idea. But when we think of the amount of inventions that have come out in the Americas from African people, we need to take a step back for a minute and understand that this isn't me as a Yoruba or you as Igbo. This is all of us as Africans. This is what we have contributed. And if we don't want to buy into that Afro-unicity, then I think we're lost. We're lost, and we're lost forever.
Thank you. Let Jonaba is Jonaba's turn, please. Jonaba, welcome. Thank you for your patience. I know it's not been easy. Please go ahead.
Thank you, forefathers. Can you guys hear me clearly, because my thing is going in and out?
Loud and clear.
Thank you so very much. My brother Jagun and the Seko are not different. It's just the uses of language. But I think they rectify it end of the day, because it was like the word the tribalized is not what he really meant. He meant that we can let us embrace our differences and our tribes, but let's deal with the bigger issues, because you cannot tell me not to be who I am. But the only problem we have with Africa, we are so cheap that the outsider use that tribe to penetrate us and divide us. And that is what Seko is trying to say. And what my brother Jegun is saying is that, oh no, I am Yoruba, that's Yoruba, that is not an issue. So it's a choice of language. I think they're all in the same page. Meanwhile, I go further. And to those on the, normally been on this show for a long time, and I take my stand and I take responsibility to what I say, whether it's right or wrong. But the problem we are having again is those that misunderstood you or deliberately misunderstood you. Why I came back is that I do not say that the answers protesters are bad people or something wrong with them or blaming them. What I said that we do not follow up with them. There are still some of them in the prison, and it's lack of organization. Period. I stop right there, because what I have find out on this platform is that people, regardless of what you say from the pure spirit and for the bigger cause, they have their own narrow-minded interpretation to what you say to justify where they stand in life. There are people here who think change is easy and change is a cheap talk. It's not. It's not. Change is a process, and we all have that struggle today. The only thing that makes the difference between somebody else that embraces change, it depends on who is in their life that caution them and they listen to, or how they listen to their own inner world or the value they have raised them with. But the notions that Nigeria must be born down, or Africa must be born down for who we are, for who that born down go to, that is the question. And to some of people who think change is easy, a man that lives in America for 30 good years, he have not changed. His lifestyle is the same thing as those that live under the bridge in Oshodi. But you want somebody else's life to change overnight because you can quote somebody else that never lived through you. We African people, nobody, no white man will come and solve our problem, or Asian, or Chinese, or Indian. We, the African people, have to decide our future. But if we live in this petty life of no self-value, and the value of our culture that we enshrine as a black people, I'm not talking about tribe now, it's bigger than that, then we will be left behind and somebody else will inherit that space. It's a matter of time. But when we come here, we go after each other, and not even when fact prove that one of those things and statistics prove that what we are saying is not right or does not match, and we continue to emphasize on tribalism and bigotry. Some of you quote Bible. Yeah, God bless you the way you look at the Bible and how you think about it, if it helps you. I'm not here to debate Bible with you. We are talking about issues that is affecting us, displace the black people around the world. I believe every honest black man will be comfortable in their region. But for some reasons, we are all displayed. There's no problem with immigration. World revolves, but then we are losing it upright to every other color. When I mean color, I mean whether it's Asian, Indian, white, or whatever. But we, the Black people, we are still struggling with tribal differences. We will always have difference. Even those of us that are twins among us, we will always have our differences. But for the respect of compromise to one another and understanding, we can always be one. And it's all about giving and take. But if we come here every Saturday and Sunday to fuel this, I'm sorry I take long, but I'm going to wrap up. Please, as a senior citizen who has spent time on this platform, I come here not because it's convenient, but I come here because I see that if there's no check and balance, whatever you are saying here and they didn't hear other people, it become norm, and other people, the platform will not be interested. That's why I log in sometimes, because I will choose to listen behind. But sometimes our voices here does not help an issue. And we should don't let politics motivate you or religion motivate you. Let mankind and bigger picture of Black people motivate you, and let it more than even Africa, not more than Nigeria as a country, rather as a Black and the suffering of the Black people on earth. Thank you.
Thank you. And that is a very powerful point. I think that reminds me when you said something about twins, even being divided, they can be divided. And when the Igbo people came here, most of this tribe where everybody likes to maintain is within the tribes that they divided them, not even from another tribe. Within that tribe, they, like the Yoruba people, they were fighting each other in Lagos when they came there. They were fighting for the throne, and then they use one against the other. This is how it works. And even inter-tribe, there are divisions, so it never ends. Sooner or later, we have to say this is where we draw the line. We have to exhibit. We have to try to harness our national identity. In other words, come together and do something, for crying out loud. I think if not now, thank you for joining us again. Thank you for coming back. You know, I'm sure Pansat is backstage with all the tribe talk. I think he couldn't take it anymore. And he's gonna join us very soon. He's driving. He can't even wait to get to where he's going to. He's still driving. He's backstage. Pansat, we see you. So he just he's pointing at me backstage. He's pointing at me backstage. I can't bring you on stage now because you're driving. When you get to where you're going, point. Okay, if not that, please go ahead. What do you think about what you've had so far?
I mean, I was here earlier in the morning. I don't really understand how we entered into tribe again today.
Kene came on now. That's what happened.
It's not easy.
Well, I think at this stage in our national life, there are certain things we cannot really run away from. You know, it's not worth talking about, but I think we cannot say we can't talk about it. Since it keeps coming up, we have to keep talking about it. And briefly, I want to say that there is nothing wrong with tribe or ethnicity. You know, it's part of our cultural heritage. You understand? And I think the problem is that Nigeria have not really given Nigerians the right of citizenship. And that's the reason why it's as if we are still clinging to our tribes. Because that's where we feel that identity and support. If the government can give Nigerians the right of citizenship, I think we'll begin to make progress and begin to have a national identity and national ideology to work towards. Take, for instance, I think that by now, and that's part of the mistake they made when we entered this last democratic experience, we are not able to forge that common ideology of maybe 50 years, 100 years plan that was bought into by all the political class. So that irrespective of your political ideology, we know, okay, this is the things that are uniting us. This is what all of us are working towards. so that whether it's Mr. A that came into power, Mr. B, they know that there are issues that everybody already have a consensus on. Over the years, they always tell us, don't talk about this, don't talk about that, don't talk. When you say people don't talk about something, it doesn't make that thing to stop existing. So I think it's high time this become a national conversation. Maybe it would be discussed once and for all and dusted and put in the place where it rightly belongs so that we can begin to move forward as a nation. That's what I think.
Thank you. I think what you said is quite powerful, actually. And a lot of people have made some strong, very powerful contributions. Nigeria has not given its people reason to be, attach their identity to the Nigerian state. They've not given them enough. They stand them down every time, even national anthem. They ignore the people and go and give it to 1960, 59.
Exactly.
Like they stand them down. Like Nigerians, don't say anything. You're just passengers here. Why wouldn't they hold on to what they know? That's a really powerful point. Owibo, thank you for joining us. I'm sure the cows, they are not citizens of Ghana. Is very obvious. And I'm just saying it. Welcome.
Thank you, my brother. I have been listening. The zeal of coming back, I cannot resist. It coming back. You see, I will go through a different dimension. It is not Nigeria. Who make up Nigeria? Who are Nigerians? Who are Nigerians what is Nigeria that is going to give you, what the citizens want? Is there any Nigeria? And are there Nigerians? See, when they ask, is it a former governor of, is it Taraba State or so? He said he is Fulani first before Nigeria. If you ask my mother, who is a Biafran Igbo woman, she will tell you that she is Igbo before Nigeria. And you had your tribes big enough before Nigeria was imposed on you by a man. And we are proud to still answer that Nigeria today. If it was right, Kwame Nkrumah could have kept Gold Coast. He could have retained Gold Coast. He changed it. He literally changed it and sacked them out of Ghana within that period until they connived to overthrow him. They almost killed him. Kwame Nkrumah survived more than 10 assassination attempts. In fact, the last one almost killed him when they used a schoolgirl. This is what our people pass through. And I would like to, address our elders in Africa. If you are over 55 years, I am, with all due respect, you contributed to what your children are going through today. If you are over 55 years, you also contributed to the ill that your children and grandchildren are suffering today because you benefited so much. You benefited so much from the country. Most of you had scholarship to school abroad. But after finishing your studies, you will run back home because there were jobs readily available and houses, government houses readily available for you to take over. But within this period, you enjoy all those things and you refuse to provide same for the generation that came after you. Who do you blame? And I see most of you coming here to blame leaders and blame leadership. Look, let me tell you, based on the Lekki massacre, it was not poor organization. I am telling you the truth. I know the army and I know what they can do. There was nothing like poor organization. The youths organized themselves, and I'm proud to say it here that they really tried to do what was right. But what happened? Typical of the Nigerian government, they level barrels of gun and ammunition live, not even what do I call it, blank armor or water cannons. They did not. They leveled it at them and scattered them and create. Who will, if you were there, if you were those Lekki protesters, would you have stayed? When live munitions were raining on you, people's legs were broken, hands were broken, some of them died on the spot. And they came and cleaned it. But we will come out today and tell them that it was poor organization and whatever. If you are older than 55 years, you contributed to the suffering the youth are going through today. That is what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Father, please let me respond because he was referring to when he said poor organizations. And let me respond to him because this is how we mischaracterize ourselves and misunderstood ourselves. Let's put things in the context. I says that they should have a lawyer done today, since after that we have not heard about their pain and struggling in jail until former Senator Shehu came and mentioned it on Democracy Day, and we are picking up from there. That it should have been something we are following up since that time till today, and there's no reason why any SARS protester should be in prison till today. And that is what I'm saying, without them being heard of. So let us put things, I've never blamed them, I will never blame them. And I will say specifically, they are heroes for standing up, but the people fail them for following up, and the people fail them for following up because if we know who is human rights activist, who is their lawyer, and that is to learn from there that even while we agitate henceforth, we should have those things in place because Nigeria or the power that being will always crushes you whenever you make any attempt to take your basic human right to say you stand here. So let us put this in the right context. I'm not saying nor blaming them. I'm saying there should have been a better follow-up. Thank you.
Thank you.
To Nigeria, sorry. You see, this is the reason why there was the last time I appeared here, I made a comment. And immediately after I made that comment, my senior brother, uncle or father, because I am 49, I don't hide my age, also came and said what he said. And he also made mention as an elder. He used some certain phrase. If you feel that what I said affects you, continue to respond. That day, I chose not to respond. But you see how it is. When I call out the elders this night, when I call out the elders that stayed in the house, when a she-goat delivers in a tether, my uncle came out telling me that I mentioned him. I did not mention you. I made my comment
I
just
spoke
like
about
I made my comment that day.
I talk about NSAS issues, and not only from you. I've seen it.
I'm
not even arguing with you. No, brother, I'm not arguing with you. And it's okay for you to even mention my name. I have a thick skin. You should know I come from a different sentiment. So if I'm not prepared to come here mentally and otherwise, I will not come. So I don't have problem of you going and say anything, but I don't want you to or you or anybody else. What I'm trying to say is that I never blame NSAS protesters. I believe they are heroes to Nigeria and to everything. I say that the organization have not followed up their case very well, and there's no reason for them to be in prison today. Thank you.
Thank you. Well done. Yeah, I guess so. Welcome. I think all the tribe talk probably didn't let you rest. You had to come out. You had to come and have your say on this one. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Let me say hello to the panelists, everybody else that's participating here. By the way, I start off with Steph. Steph comes on this show with the lowest energy anybody could ever have. You know, if I was,
how dare you?
If I was out there,
it's because I have you.
That's a good one. That's how want to start with trouble already. No, he's gone. He's gone. He's gone. So yeah, I wanted to go to this Dangote business. Dangote is now talking about going into steel, and you know how important steel is in terms of industrialization. He has built a refinery in 6 years. He did, and that refinery is very, very important to Nigeria because it's not only about providing petrol; it's about providing Nigeria a kind of base for our petrochemical industry, where we can do a lot of things with petrochemical, from medicine to manufacturing polymers and all kinds of different other aspects, even on road this construction and different stuff. So he's done that, and now he wants to go into this in steel manufacturing, and he's talking about even looking to use that to build West Africa. So the idea, if people like Dangote, Oyema, I think they are the heroes of Nigeria today. The bankers, the GT Bank, Zenith Bank, these people are the ones flying the flag of Nigeria. Nollywood flying the flag of Nigeria, Afrobeats flying the flag of Nigeria everywhere. And what it dawned on me this week when we were having this conversation was that in capitalistic systems, the reach of their nations are often by these type of institutions. Like, you know how America has Apple, Google, YouTube that we have right now. China has TikTok, Alibaba, and a few others, and Huawei. These are in a capitalistic form. These are state actors. Let's not make a mistake. These are state actors. And what I find is that in the context of Nigeria, when Dangote does all this, people say is monopoly and stuff like that. So I don't know what you think about it, because personally, the way I look at it is that better him than nothing, isn't it? So what do you think about it, Steph?
Yeah, yeah. I think you brought out this topic in the morning, and
Yeah.
some people, it was a mixed reaction, but I seem to differ, and I am more aligned with your own reasoning. If I'm right with where I think you're also reasoning, I think there's nothing wrong in the economic interest of Dangote in Nigeria. It has helped a lot. No system is perfect, and a capitalist is a capitalist. So anybody that want to criticize his business model, the question I will ask: if you are the Dangote of today, what kind of business model will you adopt? You understand? It may be a monopoly, but not because it's not by design. What do I mean by that? Except in the military era, when he was given a license to be the sole importer of some commodities? I don't think there is anybody who want to enter into any business he's doing today that the government will refuse license. So to that extent, you can't really claim there is a monopoly by design, because this is a capitalist society. It's just like nothing in the East has a car manufacturing industry. For now, if he's the only, assuming that he's the only one doing it, you may still say the same thing. But if he's the only one doing it, it doesn't really necessarily qualify that you blame him for that monopoly. That's what I'm trying to say. Dangote's most of his business looks like it's a monopoly, but do you really have enough reason to blame him for it? That's my question. You understand? So it is the duty of the government, because from economic theory, basic.
Put some water.
From basic economic theory, monopoly is not good, whether in the hand of the government or in the hand of individual. You understand? So it is the duty of the government to now put policies in place to make sure that the ills of the monopoly will not outweigh the benefits that Nigerians are supposed to derive from a free market economy. That's the point I'm trying to make. So if he can start a steel industry, let's focus more on the multiplier effect of such industry in Nigeria. If it takes off, it's going to help us to, launch the backbone of our economic base, because the effect of steel industry in the developed countries, without adequate steel supply, America will not be where it is today, China will not be where it is today, and any other developed country. So steel is something that you cannot really do without, And the government knew that was why over the years they tried with Ajokuta and it didn't work out. So if it is a private citizen like Dangote can make it work out, if it's going to be a monopoly, I think it's better than not having it at all. That's my take on it.
So, and that is true. And the idea, one of the bad thing about, sorry, John, I'll come to you. One of the bad thing about monopoly is that the price goes up for things, isn't it? So, and we're having this discussion. So we thought we should check what is the cost of living around the world and compare that to what Nigeria has. And you see, is there no list? Nigeria, man, we are really a strange country. I tell you, people don't know how strange, unusual Nigeria is. Look at the cost of living index by city in the world. And now let's find Nigeria in this list. Sure, I just type Nigeria at the top. It's only one city appeared in Nigeria. In terms of the top ones, look at how expensive, like Switzerland, Bermuda, Switzerland, so many states, United States, so many states in the United States, expensive. But look at the first state in Nigeria, and it's only one that appeared, Lagos, almost at the bottom. And it means, what that means is that the rest of the states are cheaper, that they cannot even show up on this list. That's Nigeria. If you go by nation, let's go by nation. The cost of living in there by country. So you will see where Nigeria ranks. Look at Switzerland and Bermuda at the top again. They are the leading nations. Look at cost of living in Nigeria. Almost the bottom of the table itself. Let me zoom in so people can see. So it doesn't look like I'm doing a funny thing here. So that is Nigeria there at the bottom again. And what does that tell you? That's why sometimes I look at these Oyemas, the Dangotes. I look at them and say, these people are trying in a hostile environment to do business, because where cost of living is so cheap and you have to buy your equipment practically from the same market. We don't make machineries. You have to buy like all those countries where people pay for items more and do business in Nigeria and survive. It's quite a remarkable feat to be able to do that and survive in Nigeria. Hence, we should see these people for what they truly are. They are the only ones flying the Nigerian flag right now. And if you want to expand into other areas, expand. If you want to go and build a nuclear power plant, go ahead. If you want to go and start shipbuilding, start shipbuilding. There are so many monopolies you can start. If you are so worried about its own monopoly, start your own. Nigeria has so much space to expand into. And one thing you can say about this government, I don't know, other than their economic policy that is completely rubbish for business, but I think consciously they want to encourage business. If you have a business idea, I don't think they want to discourage you, even if the environment they've created for business is very bad. But in their mind, they believe they are very friendly to business, and maybe that is true too. Who else? Who wants to continue?
Let me come in, please.
Please, let's respect.
Let me come in, please.
Can you relax yourself?
You came in last.
Yourself. Relax.
You kicked me out
my younger brother.
I didn't kick you out. Why would I kick you out?
I think I was driving then.
Oh yeah, you were driving. That's why.
Yeah.
Can you relax?
Janaba, please go ahead. Janaba, please go ahead.
Kene, I want you not to be like your senior brother Fasat. Please, I know you are my boy, and I know we have our differences. We'll work it out. Maybe in heaven, if there is heaven. But then, don't come from the back and jump to the front. Respect the rule of law. That's what damage in Nigeria. Thank you.
Is that all? Okay.
Now, You see, the sentiment on business, I've said there's Emerson motto. If Nigeria really want to make Nigeria move forward and not playing politics with themselves and Nigerian citizens, that really want to empower themselves, not only in the East, but the federal government should ask all Nigerian politicians to have it as official car. Because whether they assemble it in Nigeria, it's also a good thing. If you want to claim, oh, it's assembled in Nigeria, it's not a full manufacturer in Nigeria, but it's assembled in Nigeria. Let's give it to it. The fact is that the Dangote, when he hear people hear it in their ear, they don't look at the employment. I was against Dangote when he sold the flour aspect of Dangote to South African company, and many people lost their pension because the way the people took over. But thank God, the people went bankrupt. He bought it back from them. But the point I'm trying to say is that let us be honest. In America here, the bigger company never want the smaller company to exist. They're always going to come up with something to deprive them. For instance, let's talk about motor vehicle, for instance. They will come up with something that make you go out of your way. For instance, let's say you buy a salvage car today. Before, state varies. So they will say, oh, now they are asking for receipt. Some states you cannot even drive it. You have to tow it for inspection, even for physical inspection. For you to be able to drive the car, somebody have to inspect it physically before you even inspect it. Some states you have to do the inspection before you do that. Some place you have to submit your reviewed paper and all of that. Before they were not asking for receipt. Some states they now ask for receipt. What am I trying to say? Everybody go after their own interest. It's left for the government to regulate and for the fairness of the people to say, you know what, if only these people have this power in their hand, it's going to rob ordinary people and we will lack job creation. So if Dangote is having a steel company and the government are regulating it and take the fair share, there's nothing wrong with it. And if you think it's not a good thing, in as much as you think it's open society, it's open for you to register a company. You may find it difficult in one way or the other, but you are not stopped by anybody. So go ahead. Many people are into import to Nigeria. They find it difficult in the way they are treated, but it still happen here. When they say small business in America, it can still be billions of dollars business, but they're always going to say, oh, it's a small business. For instance, Donald Trump benefited when World Trade Center was crushed because he claimed a small business, even though end of the day, he did not lose nothing. So this is what people do. But when the word Fulani man coming, he raises people's anger and bitterness. Dangote do not only employ.
Why are you going to Fulani man again?
Please, I have to finish my submission. Be patient. Be patient. Be patient.
No, just a minute. I have my elder here.
Let's allow people to finish now.
That is, you see, this is what they do for distraction. They are doing it for distraction. There's nothing more. If you don't have time, don't even come here. You are not going to do us any good anyway. If you don't have time, you are over 70. You're not going to do us any good.
Sorry about
okay, now that is their alarm is tribalism. They do not look at anything. Okay, if you want to criticize them, whether it's Tinubu or anybody, come with a constructive criticism and say, oh, this monopoly is not good for this and this and that.
Do all that, but I'm riding on the main
but
back,
up front, what they hear is after Fulani is a rich man, and that is it. So please meet this man for me. You send your brother to hell, never come back. You are coming to me. Stay where you are. So that is the problem we have. We have to have open-minded to make sure that we, the people of Nigeria, if we want to criticize the government for what they are not doing right, it should not be tribal issue, whether to Dangote or to whatever the company in the East, a motor company, and
It's 15
what do you
minutes
call
now.
it? Remind me, please. I just, who is that? So that is
It's
it, and I'm
past
going to
15
exit for
minutes,
now.
Jonaba.
If I have a
now, it's not.
okay,
Come on,
no,
let him
relax. I'm going to exit. If you don't mind these people, these are the people that make this platform interesting. So I'm going to exit for now. I'm going to be listening. If Ferrari come, I will come in because Ferrari have choose to be on my case, and I will be on your case. I'll warn you out. I promise you.
It's too
So,
late. You've exhausted your time.
Papa, a minute,
Who
please.
next? Is it
Yeah,
Ken,
it's
can
me
you
now.
let me go first, please, Ken?
Is that
Yes. Alaba go.
hold
Alaba
on,
go
hold
first.
on, both of you, hold on,
By the way, everybody, you should come to tomorrow's show.
Is
Except
Dexter, were you here first? Who was here first? I know Weebo was here when I
let me speak.
It's me now.
Hold on now.
You pushed me out before.
Dexter, why are you quiet? Were you here first? Because I feel like you came in first.
Let him go. Let him go ahead first. Let him go
That's
ahead.
what you should say.
No,
If I give
Christian should go ahead. You started with
who
your
should go
drama.
first, Kene or Ferrari?
Okay, let Alaba come.
Okay.
Alaba go.
Everybody come
I
to
will go after
tomorrow's
Alaba.
show except that man. Anyway, there's been a lot of misinformation on this platform about monopoly and capitalism. And we have to set it straight. That's the only reason I came on, because I don't like coming on when John Abba is on, because I want him banned. Anyway, moving on. Let me leave John Abba for now, because he's going to upset me. Now I'm losing my thought because he keeps coming on. Anyway, monopoly in America that practice capitalism that the rest of us wants to copy. By law, they don't tolerate monopoly. And there's a reason for that. Because there's nothing democratic about monopoly. There's nothing. Be you who set up your own business, like Microsoft, like Apple, like all the big names. The American system will make sure by law that that company is broken down into smaller units so that the people can have access, because they know that monopoly is anti-capitalism and it's anti-democracy. Because whoever controls monopoly can influence their democracy. And that's the danger. They know that. These people are thinkers. They just don't set up a system and just let it loose. Other countries that allow one company to control are usually communist states, and that's a state-run company. You have to know the difference. One man importing everything in your country, it's related to the corruption in your country and the hardship your country is going through. If you don't get that, then you don't know economics. There's no correlation between monopoly and democracy. There's none. They break it down. So if the government wants to help companies, we have innocent motors there. They should help innocent motors, not be giving the taxpayers money to Dangote to run something they have failed to run. This is not a tribal issue or anti. This is a fact. If you love that country, anything Dangote, you want to go against it. If he doesn't put his business on the trade market for it to go public and destroy the monopoly, it shouldn't exist, because you're using state fund for one individual. Country don't work like, and that individual will be so powerful that individual can topple your government.
Down again.
That individual can talk. So there's so much misinformation. Dangote is a hero. Dangote is this. Dangote is that. I don't like misinformation on medium like this, because there are young Nigerians listening, except when people like John is talking, and that one confuses young Nigerians. But all of you are educated people, and you help young Nigerians to educate them.
I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Yes. Alaba, can I come in?
Yeah.
Let me ask Ferrari for clarification.
Okay.
Yeah.
What forefather is the topic he raised is that say that Dangote want to enter into steel manufacturing. So if Dangote should start Dangote steel manufacturing industry, if you want to establish it, if government is not giving him money to do it,
how do you know? They gave him money for oil. You don't know that. Would they come out and tell you that this corrupt government? Would they come out and tell? Did you tell you when they gave him money for the refinery? Did they tell you? I'm asking you that question. Did they come and ask you?
You've not even answered the question that I'm asking you. Asking me again.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
What I'm saying is that, assuming that we're not talking about what we are not sure of yet, but we just heard that he wants to start steel industry. Is it wrong for government to stop him from establishing steel industry just because they feel that it's going to be a monopoly? Or is it the duty of the government to put policies in place to make sure that the steel company he's starting is not going to be a monopoly?
Did you see all of them gather when they wanted to open Dangote refinery, all the shareholders of Nigeria? Did you see all of them gather when they opened Dangote refinery? Those are the people that own your country. And those are the people that won't let your country have equity. You understand? The government's role is to provide law and order for all companies, for everybody to submit bid. You understand? Not to stop him. They can't stop him. But they would examine his bid, compare it to others, compare it to other companies, see which one is more likely. That's the government role. Government role is regulatory. But because we have a failed government and we have gullible followership, that they sell anything to us, we jump at it and we grab it. We are abdicating our role as citizens.
Is the government selling the Ajokute steel industry to him?
I think it's my turn now, please.
I don't know if they're selling it to him, but that idea alone, that the guy again wants to go into steel, should make
everybody submitting bid.
You make him scared.
See, Alaba, if you are being some other person was doing it, nobody is looking to do it. He is doing it. If he says he wants to build a nuclear power plant now, you're going to complain. Now, why is he doing it? Because it's him again. There is a lot of scope for businesses to expand into Nigeria.
Do you have data
Let
that
them expand.
No other person is doing it? You see,
no other person is doing it.
Do you have data?
We are not a major steel manufacturer.
Do you have data?
Even if others are doing it, why
let me come in, please.
And the truth, okay, let me show some. No, hold on. Let me just show you some monopolies around the world. Look at the monopolies around the world. They have monopolies everywhere. Look at the UK. Payment systems are a form of monopoly.
And how is UK faring economically?
They are faring better than the UK, Nigeria. 1.4 trillion a year they spend on their economy. 1.4 trillion.
How much are they owing in debt?
They are not.
Their unemployment rate?
They still get more money than you. You want to compare yourself to them?
Because they steal from other countries. They steal from third world countries, right?
UK has only one
including
water
Nigeria.
company. Hold on. UK has only one water company. One.
Yeah, and they steal from other countries.
And they are releasing poo-poo water into the ocean. And yet they still have the rights to it. So
let me come in, please.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Alaba, thank you very much. I think you put it better than I should have, right? The thing is, I have heard somebody talking about the capitalist system in government. I don't know in Nigeria. I don't know where that person learned or who taught the person that Nigeria run a capitalist government. Nigeria doesn't. Nigeria run a confused system. You will not call it capitalist. You will not call it monopolistic. You will not call it mixed. It's a confused system of governance that Nigeria run. For those that don't know the history a little bit, let me help us here. It started off with 1999 when we had Nitel. Nitel that was owned by the federal government, right? Nitel was sold by Atiku. Who bought Nitel? Who did they sell Nitel to? And what was the modalities? How did they even bid? Because this is a public a company, so investors should bid. Before they, whomever that qualifies should buy it. So how did they go about the bidding and all that? How did they auction Nitel? Nitel was sold among them. The politicians bought it. Now we had cement, right? When Ibeto was producing cement. We have the Calago cement, and then in Calago was intentionally crushed down, and Ibeto's own was crushed down, and Dangote was given a public fund to build his cement factory, the way he built it now. Public money, federal government money. Then Dangote, we have Nigerian refinery. The Nigerian refineries were intentionally crushed down so that they will invest in Dangote's refinery, because they are a bunch of lazy idiots that don't know how to make money. The only easy money they make is embezzlement of public fund. And for them, because they know one day they're going to retire, so they need where they will invest their money. And Dangote happens to be their hero. So Dangote is not my hero, please. Dangote is their hero. He's among the criminal gang in Nigeria that call themselves leaders. So they are using him as their boy now, errand boy, invest our money in Dangote's refinery. Now, since they invested that money in Dangote's refinery, tell me 1 liter of petrol that has been gotten from Dangote refinery. Nothing. Nothing till today. And now they're about to invest. You and I know that they've crushed Ajekuta steel industry. So they crushed Ajekuta in the steel industry because they have their boy. They have Dangote, that they now want to invest our money, federal government money, into Dangote's so-called refinery steel industry. Yeah, and you are now referring to Dangote as a hero. Who's hero? Nigeria. Let's understand this. Nigeria is more of monopolistic system than even the confused system that I'm talking about right now, because they are doing it with deliberate action. But I mean, yeah. So they are doing it. If they were just confused, I might be lenient on them, but they are intentional with what they are doing, trying to run a monopolistic system by using Dangote to push that idea. So investing public fund into Dangote's refinery, investing the public fund into Dangote's cement, sugar, and now steel industry is a show of criminality. Just as Alaba said, the day they commissioned the refinery, did you not see all of them there? They are the investors. No foreign investors. They are the investors in that company. And that is what they want to do with the steel industry. They are cleaners. If they want to run a capitalist system, they should have a free system. They should have a free market whereby anybody that wants to start up a business or start up a company must go through the requirement. Once you get the requirement, you'll be given a license to operate whatever you want to operate. In some cases, you may not even have all the requirement, but at least if you have some important requirement, the government will support you by giving you the license to start up, but maybe give you some years to get other requirements completed. So Nigeria is not running a system, a free system, a free market system, is not running a capitalist system, but Nigeria is running a monopolistic system. And that is not doing well. It's not doing well in our economy. They are looking for a way to build the economy or to revamp the economy that they are intentionally killing. They are killing the economy and then running back to tell us that they want to revamp. What are you revamping? You are killing it. Have a free system, then the economy will blossom. But you said no. All you're doing is to kill the economy. And you and I are here talking about, you see Nigeria, like somebody said, you can only be a Nigerian. I'm not. Sorry. Thank you.
You see, the truth is that you have a point that they are helping kill businesses. Dangote Sugar lost money because of the economic problem. MTN lost money. They are killing Nigerian businesses. But let me just respond to Fumi here, that I'm lying as usual about this is UK having a monopoly in water. I think I made one error in my suggestion that the UK has only one water company. There are multiple, but they are regional. So let me explain what I was trying to say, so as he can get it before he accuse me of lying constantly. So it says the water industry in England and Wales was privatized in 1989. Most water and sewage companies are regional monopolies with dedicated pipe networks and water supply. This means that household customers cannot choose and switch their suppliers and competition is limited. So this is what they call it natural monopolies. So it's a monopoly, but the fact that I got wrong was the fact that it's only one company. It's not only one company, but it's regional. And what it depends on your region. If you have one company, you are stuck with it. You can't change to any other one. So that was the point. I just thought I should correct that. Like to keep things factual here, okay? It's not offensive to accuse me of lying.
I missed something. I think you shared something about Nigeria running the list. I think you shared something about what they call it, the standard of living, right? Standard of living. Right?
Cost of living.
Yeah, that the cost of living in Nigeria's cost of living is so low. But you've also forgotten that in that same Nigeria, that we don't have a system to determine what exactly or what is the cost of living of Nigerians. For example, your income, your wage is $30, 30,000 naira or 35,000, right? Is your wage. At the end of the day, at the end of the month, 30 days, what you are paid is 35,000 naira. Out of that 35,000 naira, NEPA, the so-called NEPA electricity company that did not give you light up to 7 times in a month, will come with a bill of 21,000. Now, mind you that Nigeria, the system does not provide water to the populace. You have to source for your own water. Right? Maybe you spent 5,000 on water for the month. Now 26,000 is gone. So how much are you left with to feed your family and take care of other things?
Make a statement.
And you're saying that our cost of living is low? And then when you don't pay, when you don't have money to pay for the electricity, when you don't have money to pay for the electricity, they will chop off your cable. The cable they never bought. You were the one that bought the pole. You were the one that bought the cable and connect light in your house. But if you don't have money to pay for the electricity at the end of the month, they will cut the cable and take it as if it's theirs. I swear.
No, but the point is that you are not supposed to be taking electricity from the mains. That's the point.
No, because they will never provide. If you build a house in Nigeria today, nobody will even you advise yourself because they don't care. You advise yourself to go and buy the pole, buy the cables, and then call the NEPA to come and connect the electricity for you. It is up to you to do that. Do you do that in that UK that you are now comparing with Nigeria?
No, you don't do that. I'm not saying that there are no peculiarities.
Nigeria
in Nigeria
has the worst
low cost of living. I don't know why you are still disputing the point. It still stands that Nigeria cost of living is extremely low. That is the problem, and that's why maybe our services are not even that good.
What's made up cost of living? What are those necessities, those basic necessities that you need to live as a human being?
Cost to get food, cost to get housing, cost to go to school, hospital, all those things.
Among all these things that you just listed, which one do the government provide for the people?
I'm not. What does it matter? You can argue that the government provides all of them.
No, it matters because here where I live, the system provides constant electricity for me. One, the system actually have free education. If you are not capable of taking your children to private school, you can actually put them in public school for free, right? The system provides water. Each time I turn my tap, water is running. And the system also provides job opportunity for me to make money and to be able to pay for those utilities, right? So I am making the money, I am paying for the electricity. But is it same in Nigeria? No. The system made it difficult for you to even secure a job in Nigeria. If you're a beautiful lady, you must sell this thing before you must sleep with one useless idiot for you to secure a job, right? The system made it very difficult for you to even run a business. Now, at the top of all these things, right? They don't even provide the water. They don't provide the electricity. They don't provide anything. At the end of the day, you will be expected to pay for electricity that they did not give you. They call it estimated billing. Thank God now they have the prepaid meter nonsense, right? They don't provide water for you. So you have to go and provide it for yourself. And it costs a lot for you to provide the water for yourself.
No, they take that into account when they are measuring cost of living. They take all that into account.
Really? Now, let's do the mathematics then. let's do the mathematics. How much is the least electricity tariff in Nigeria? What is the tariff in Nigeria? Then how many?
The tariff is stupid cheap, like monthly for a house, like a whole 4-bedroom house, fenced around and everything. The amount is more than like 15th the amount you pay here.
Like how much in estimate? In your own estimation?
30,000 now. Before it was around even 12,000.
30,000 naira, right? 30,000 naira. And then what again? Water. Do they provide it?
Yeah.
They provide water? Government?
No. That's borehole now.
Borehole. Who provide the borehole?
No, it's not about government. It's about how much it costs you to do it.
You okay? Let's go by the 62,000 naira minimum wage. You're paid 62,000 naira as a civil servant. Then you according to your own estimation of electricity, now you spend 30,000 naira for electricity. How much is left? 32,000. What are you going to do with it for the month?
See, it still doesn't change the cost of living. That's the figure. It's like you're trying to fight a number.
Electricity is one of the necessities of life, the basic needs of a man. They need electricity, right?
No, I'm not. That is not the argument. It's the cost it takes you to get those things in Nigeria. It's relatively cheaper compared to the West. I'm telling you now, like a 3-bedroom, or 4-bedroom house, you are paying about 30,000 naira. 30,000 naira in the UK amounts to less than maybe 20,000.
How much is the minimum wage in the UK?
For the same property in the UK, it's
no.
around
How much is your minimum wage in the UK that you are making the comparison with? How much is your minimum wage?
But that is not the argument. They are not doing that. They are just telling you this is the price. And now, if I go now and show you, okay, let me show another number that is going to give and shed light to what we're talking about. This one is tax information. That's the tax people take from their citizens and give to the government so that the government can use to do stuff. Look at the countries in the world. The highest taxed ones are like France, Denmark, all these other countries. And look at where Nigeria is again on the list here. You go down, or even African countries, Nigerians are below them. And where is Nigeria on this list again? Look at Nigeria here.
Are you still going on Wikipedia?
Oh my goodness.
So after everything that we advise you to leave Wikipedia, you're still using Wikipedia?
So you want to talk from your own mouth, that because you are the professor of all knowledge. You want respect.
We are talking about
went to school
the reality on ground. No, the reality, we're making reference to the reality on ground in Nigeria, not Wikipedia. I can go to.
I'm not saying the oddities you are describing is false. It's true.
I can go on this Wikipedia and change whatever I want to change there.
No, you can't. They will check it and move it again. No, you can't. You can't change it, but you have to source your data, isn't it? You have to point it to somewhere that is reliable data. And
how many data did Tinubu source to be changing his age all the time on Wikipedia?
I'm not disagreeing with you that all this issue describe, all this experience you describe in Nigeria, it is true. But it's not has nothing to do with the numbers we are talking about. The numbers we are talking about is the reality of the world. You can't expect like the machines that the car that they buy in Nigeria, is it made in Nigeria? You have to buy them from overseas where other people will spend more money on those things.
Now,
and Nigerians have to spend a little money.
Do you know today that it is cheaper for me to ship a car from Nigeria to the US than it is for me to ship car from US to Nigeria? Do you know that it's cheaper for me to import cars in US than it is?
Why do you think that is?
Useless government policy, irregularities in their policy.
Because you don't have scale. You don't have scale.
In the tariff.
You don't have scale. You know how business works. If you sell more, you can afford to bring the price down. We don't have scale. We don't manufacture anything. We don't export. We barely even import. The only thing we do is import petrol and all the rest, and all the nonsense stuff we import into Nigeria that we don't need to import. See, all this issue you are saying is not a lie. We all know this is true. But these numbers, what it is telling is that there are other things you can do to fix it. You have to start raising revenue in your country. You have to start manufacturing. You have to start actually producing things so that you can actually increase the money in the hands of your people.
I agree with you. You have to start producing. You have to start exporting. So when you produce and export, you drive more revenue. You drive more taxation. You don't start with taxation first. You provide.
All this logatruth. He's jealous.
You provide an environment where your citizens can go into production, can go into manufacturing, can go into exportation. So when you provide this environment, there will be more revenue flowing to the government through taxation, through taxes and all that, right? So people will be employed. As they get employed, they pay tax when they receive their salary, right, or wages. So, and again, you're providing job opportunity for the people. You're providing more tax to the system. You don't just start taxing people when there is no provision for job creation, when there's no provision for people to actually work and pay the tax to people. People pay tax from even the gift, the money you give to them, they pay tax on it.
Yeah,
but in this country, you don't pay tax on gift. You actually get some things from gift.
What we are saying is that as a business and as a country, the country doesn't do a lot of revenue generation compared to most nations. That number is what you are seeing there. Nigeria doesn't generate money. That's why everything is so cheap in Nigeria, because everything has to be. Otherwise, people cannot afford it at all. Please go ahead.
Thank you, guys. You see, I've been listening.
I thought it was my turn to speak.
No, I'm just okay. You know, I just
think it's an interjection. It's an interjection. Don't you just make a interjection and allow them to speak?
It is. I try to be as succinct as possible on the matter of Dangote. I don't think we really understand who Dangote is. Now, from the time of importation of rice, sugar, and amenities like this, there was a great monopoly being done by the elite, I would say. What they did was to concentrate their issues into Dangote. Now, Dangote is not the richest black person in the world. What it is that a lot of the individuals who want to hide, they use Dangote as the front man of institutionalized corruption. So they have done this. The 16 billion that Dangote is supposed to own, he does not own that by himself. If you understand what Nigeria is about and the way monopolies were created in Nigeria. So if you take that as a forebear, a given, then you move forward into really, is Nigeria a functioning country? If we understand that everybody in the country basically has a noise-making electrification on an individual basis via what we call, what is it?
Make it an interjection.
Sorry, I just want to put this in that we understand what's going on. Some of the data that you pronounced, forefather, it really does need analysis. We cannot take the data on face value. The data has to be broken down so we understand what that data says. If Nigeria from the early 80s was actually functioning as a country, by now we'll have everything we need. For the fact that everybody has their own water supply, their own electricity supply, that is a gross waste of money, because we'll be paying a lot less if these things were nationalized somehow. So I wanted to put that in as an interjection so we understand that we are not on a level playing field where Nigeria is concerned. It's the rich and poor with no middle ground. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you. We are going to go through, try to understand the number better. Who is next? I think it's Dexter. Dexter, please go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Speaking on the Dangote point, I think the idea of the free market, the problem with Nigeria, it's not that people can't import. I mean, America, they import. Every economy imports. America, they import cars from China. The point is that they make it, the government, where Nigeria has a problem is that they give one person a license and they don't give another person a license. If you want to run a free market economy, you allow anybody that has capacity to import, let the person import. But what happens in Nigeria is that you create a policy that allows just a specific number. And I think that's where the whole Dangote shenanigan comes in. And like Jagun said, Dangote is not the individual you see. Dangote is an entity, a conglomerate of the elites that use him to fleece the Nigerian people, you know. But what Nigeria needs is a free market economy where anybody, if Ekene wants to import cement, he should be able to import cement and sell at the price he wants to sell. That's free market. That's what would make the country grow. If Nigeria continues in the system of and unfortunately, the thing about Nigeria is that Nigeria is fractured to the foundation. So all these things we are saying will not work because the people that have fractured this nation, people that have held this nation captive since the 1970s are not going to let go, you know, because they themselves, they are afraid. They don't want to let go of their interests. And that's why Nigeria is the way it is. Unfortunately, what's happening, Nigeria is expanding and their hands cannot hold on to it because it's expanding beyond their control. In the early 1970s, Nigeria was just a little above 100 million. Right now, the population has exploded to over 200 million. So their hands can't really hold it. But we must realize that the structure, the solution for Nigeria on the present structure will not work. It's completely unsustainable. It won't work. If you see the numbers, even this minimum wage they are talking about, do you know the effect of minimum wage? Even the 60,000, the 62,000 they are saying they are going to pay, they are thinking of paying. Do you know the effect it will have on the economy? It's going to be catastrophic because the landlord is waiting to hear what the minimum wage is. What we don't understand about that minimum wage, we think the minimum wage is for civil service. It's not for civil servants. That is the minimum wage for a Nigerian worker. That means even in the person working in the pure water factory, the moment they say minimum wage is 62,000, he's legally entitled to earn 62,000. The guy that is working as a gateman, if you have a gateman or a driver in your house, the legal amount of money he must earn as a minimum will be 62,000. So it's going to rip the whole Nigerian economy apart. You don't just introduce measures like that. Unfortunately, they don't plan. Nigeria is not planned, unlike countries like the UK.
Sorry, are you saying you are against the increase in minimum wage?
I'm not saying against. I'm against it. What I'm telling you is that we don't know the impact. It is going to tear the Nigeria economy apart. Nigeria will literally fall in tatters. Even at that 62,000, Nigeria will fall in tatters. Look, they paid that 62,000 in less than 6 months. It is on record when they paid Udoji Award. 1 year after, they asked the people, were you better before you got this money or now? They said they were better before they got the money. You don't just increase money. You peg your increments based on growth. You know, you don't just start increasing money. Like, I'm not saying I'm against it, but unfortunately, Nigeria is not structured to be progressive. Nigeria is balkanized. And finding
do they also peg the economy before they increase their own salary to 300% increase?
Yes, saying that's what Ekene was saying the same thing. We're saying the same thing. You know, so the way the foundation upon which Nigeria is running is not sustainable. It is running out of gas. In fact, Nigeria is out of gas. It's out of resources. And so all these things we are saying, Nigeria has to, if we want to solve the problem of Nigeria, it has to go down to the foundation where before everybody was running at their own pace. The Western region were investing in what they wanted to invest in. Before in Nigeria, what you earn in the Western region is nobody's business. Whatever the person is earning in the Western is what the economy can pay. The people in the North, it was what the economy could pay. And then the Nigerian economy was doing very well. But this idea of everybody go to Abuja, that is Babiala. That is a beggar mentality. It means that's why the guy in Zamfara will not do anything. Will just be, I'm waiting. Do you know that most of these governors, the governor, is it Governor Yari, was spending, he never lived in Zamfara. He was staying in Abuja throughout. You have some guys in Jigawa governor, they don't live there. Because what they do is they just get money. Then this present government has come inside, think that no country tax its way to prosperity. You don't tax your way to prosperity. Taxes does not make a country prosperous. When you want to make a country prosperous, look at the model in Taiwan. Look at the model in India. You create wealthy people among the middle class. You make it possible for the middle class to grow. You create SMEs that will be productive, that will be selling their products everywhere in the world. And for you to do that, you have to place subsidies on things like electricity, transportation. Example for Akedo Peter side gave a very, very nice example of electricity. This Nigerian electricity is a scam. He said, look, for you to pay, to give subsidy on electricity, it's very easy. All you need to say, there's nothing like band A. This one of band A, band B is rubbish. All you need to tell people is that forefathers, they are living in the UK. I'm sure if you were here during the COVID time when they were giving household subsidies on electricity, all they will tell you is, look, every month, for people that every month everybody gets, let's say, 100 units of electricity free. 100 units. Of course, the person staying in a 3-bedroom flat that doesn't have an air conditioner might not be able to finish that 100 units in a month. The people that have money will finish their 100 units, and after they finish their 100 units, they will start paying for it. So you can't come and say, oh, you're band A, you pay more money. No, you give everybody. That is how it is done in developed economies. These things are templates everywhere in the world. We don't have to, but unfortunately, these things will not work because one, Nigeria is a fractured system. The injustice in Nigeria is so endemic. It is even among some of us. It is so endemic that we cannot even see that the scales are in front of us. We cannot see. It is so bad that the people that have taken over the country, they cannot see beyond their nose. They can't see beyond their nose. And we are building on top of it's just like you get a structure, the foundations where instead of them to put piles as steel piles as the foundation, they put bamboo as the in the piles where they were supposed to put iron rods. They put bamboo. Then you now want to come and build skyscraper on top of the bamboo. What are you doing? It will not work. Each time you build, it will be sinking. And what is happening to Nigeria is that we try to build it, we sink. Oh no, let's build some more. It is always going to sink. What we need to do is destroy everything. Now, when I mean destroy, I don't mean destroy the country. The people that make up Nigeria need to come together and decide the way, justify the way to make progress. On the issue of Ekena, you were saying something on the issue of the headers. We must understand the complexity of this header situation. There are some elites, there are some Fulani elites who don't want. It is more like some people are in the house, then some people are outside. The people in the house don't want the people that are outside to come inside. I listened to Senator Alero. From what he was saying, the former governor of Kebbi State, from what I could deduce, there are some Fulanis that don't want the headers, the people that are headers, to leave their heading. They want those category of people to continue being pastoralists. They don't want to educate them. They want them to remain like that. That's why they will tell you, if you leave that, they'll say, that is their business. How can your business be to be roaming around? In fact, when they roam around, the value chain of the cow is reduced. You don't get anything from the cow again. The milk you're supposed to get, you don't get. So we must understand that complexity. It is not just a direct, let them do it. There is an elite class among the Fulani tribe that run a feudal system whereby some people stay as oligarchs at the top and they determine what happens at the base.
Hold on, Kenny.
So when we are addressing it, we must realize that if you just go out direct, in fact, the person that tried to address it technically was Goodluck Jonathan. Goodluck Jonathan was the person that tried to address it technically. The only way you can address this header stuff is one, you have to get those kids when they are kids and put them in school. That is the only way. The moment you can get them when they are children, in fact, you just say children between this age can never be headers. And you have schools for them where they must go to school. That way, you take the flames out of those oligarchs. You take it out, you take the sails off their wings. That is one of the ways to do it. Now, if you look at it, that is why when Buhari came inside, one of the things he did, he killed all those schools Jonathan did. Because Buhari is part of the syndicate. And he knew, because what happens in the northern part of Nigeria is that the oligarchs depend on the illiteracy of the population. So if you're trying to educate the population, if you're trying to educate the common man there, they will be very angry. They don't want the education there. That is why they say Boko Haram. It is war against book, war against Western culture, war against study. So you have to go and take, that is, for Nigeria to know peace, you have to do it technically. Take all those people off the streets, put them in schools, train them in vocational training. There was a man that gave an instance 50 years ago Ghana wanted to take a direction. Ghana said their direction was that they were going to invest in education. Everybody in Ghana must speak Queen's English. And truly, a Ghanaian speaks English better than a Nigerian. A Ghanaian speaks English better than Nigerians. If you hear their intonation, they know the sound. However, Taiwan decided to take a direction. Taiwan said, look, what we are going to do is that we are going to invest in vocational training, which is technical schools for people. Is it not no wonder today Taiwan is the headquarters of semiconductors? That is why China wants to take over Taiwan. If Taiwan shuts down today, almost all the countries, all of us will shut down. Our computers, our phones, everything will shut down because Taiwan is the headquarters of semiconductors now in the world. But Ghana, what is Ghana? Where does the English take you to? Nigeria must start investing in vocational schools, whereby people, when you graduate from secondary school, you don't have to go to university. It's a useless. What are you going to university to do? Some children don't need to go to university. People can become welders, can become machinists, can become fitters, and they will earn good money because the truth about it, that this university degree does not make us productive. It is people that are machinists, that are welders, fabricators. Those are the people that are making the economy grow. They make it boom. There is a large market in West Africa and Africa for us to meet. But until we start investing in the correct thing, all these ones they are talking of buying president, all those are just waste of money. But the truth about it, even us, we must realize the deceit in the system and not try to build on the faulty foundation. Because if we build on the faulty foundation, everything we do will still sink down and we'll go back to square one. Thank you.
I agree with you that the Northerners don't want their people to be educated and enlightened. Just 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
No.
He called my name now. 30 seconds.
No. You see, the point I was trying to make is that he summarized too many areas, and I know it's going to trigger you to come in. I don't want us to go back.
30 seconds. I agree with him.
No,
I agree with him completely. No. I just want to add to what he just said.
I agree with him. So let's move on to the topic we are discussing.
30 seconds. What will he take out from you?
Okay, 30 seconds then.
So, my brother, I agree with you. They don't want their citizens to be educated and enlightened. They don't want their citizens to challenge them. They believe in feudal system, right? So that feudal system is what they are trying to bring down to the south, right? And we said no. And in order for peace to reign, let there be regional system. Let them live with their feudal system in their own region and do whatever they want to do with their feudalism, right? We want to operate democracy in the southeast, maybe south, right? So the feudal system should reign up there, and then we'll have their own. We'll have our own. But they said no, we must be one confused Nigerians. We said no. That is the problem. You can't force these people. They will never agree to educate their people. They will say they will kick against it.
Thank you, Kenny. Thank you, Kenny. Yeah, so this is about Dangote. Wimbo, please go ahead. Regarding this Dangote thing, are you a big fan of Dangote becoming the hero of Nigeria like Oyema is?
I don't have no problem with Dangote becoming, a well-known business tycoon in Nigeria. But where I have problem is the process. Is Dangote's company, any of his company, listed in the Nigerian Stock Exchange to Niger?
I'm not sure, but I will bet. I will guess that it's probably listed. I don't know. But it
should be. It is not. It is not. Look, let me tell you.
So what is the point?
I would describe Dangote as a special purpose vehicle for all the generals in Nigeria, why they were, still operating. And in 1999, during Obasanjo's time, he is and still remain their special purpose vehicle. Dangote is the man. Dangote is not the richest man. All the money that you see there is not his. It is people that looted your multiples of billions in tens. In fact, the amount that they are putting there is not even what is there. That is the problem. I have no problem. If the way the privilege Dangote has in Nigeria,
let me you asked whether Dangote is listed in the stock exchange. It appears they are listed in the stock exchange. Dangote Cement PLC is listed in Nigerian stock exchange. I don't know what that means though, but it's listed.
Once you list, most of you that red economy to a higher degree will know that once a company is listed, then it is open for Nigerians to go in there and buy shares and own it.
Exactly.
So that is how it is. So the only thing, if it is listed, in Nigeria, is it not in Nigeria where Python swallow money? You will see it there on paper, but it's not functional. It's not operational. That is the truth. It is, you people should know the country that you are living in, the country you call your own. Even if you, to Nigeria, if they give you the privilege Dangote has gotten from Nigeria, you will be multiple. In fact, you will make more billions of dollars than Dangote. He is not utilizing it very well. That is what I would say. For me, for the light, when you it is for me, it is way off the mark for anybody to compare Nigerian minimum wage or the living standard as low, just like to Nigeria you are doing it. The first thing you should consider is the utility provisions to the people. How much is it costing them to pay for water in a month? How much is it costing them to pay for electricity? How much is it costing them to pay for refuse sanitation fee? How much is it costing them to pay, which other one? Electricity. How much is it costing them? What is their per capita? What is the minimum wage? In the UK, your minimum wage over there is about 11 point something pounds per hour. Who in Nigeria is paid 11 point something pounds equivalent in naira per hour in Nigeria? Then how will you compare such person with the purchasing power of a British person? The inflation rate in the UK is less than 6%. But in Nigeria, it's 33 point something. I think Ghana is now 23 or 24. So you do not compare such things. This is just like comparing apple with orange. No, orange and apple, they are the same sizes, the same thing. Comparing orange with a banana. The Nigerian workers are suffering. They are mini government to themselves. The average Nigerian man produces electricity for himself. Average Nigerian man provides borehole for himself. Even sometimes in Abia State, Obingwa, the road that led to my mother's village in Obingwa, local government, was tarred by people like you that contributed money that live in the diaspora. The government didn't do it. So for me, I don't. If Nigeria is going to liberalize the market like they talk, you see it on paper, but it is not physically implemented. Open the economy. The Nigerian government is supposed to be a regulator that is going to regulate. If you are going to sell that, or maybe Dangote is showing interest in the steel industry, which is already there, is it a sole source bidding or an open tender? If it is open tender, where everybody will come and compete, then that would be good. But if it is sole sourcing, something is wrong with Nigeria. Thank you so much. Uncle KG, Anna Mekelegi.
Thank you. Pastor, thank you for joining us.
Yeah. Thank you, Father. Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I don't. I'm trying to grasp your comparison of minimum wage in the UK and or cost of living in the UK and in Nigeria. So I don't know. I can't wrap my head around it. But my question is, what is the way forward? How do we salvage? What's the way forward? That's. I was probably on the phone talking to a few people. The same question I asked them: what is the way forward? Dexter, you said the foundation is wrong. We should start all over again, break the foundation. when we say the foundation is wrong, I try to wrap my head around it as to what do we mean by the foundation is wrong? Is it by I don't understand what and I'm being honest. I'm not trying to be smart here.